we're live.
Waiting to see.
It says we are live. You may have to refresh the page. Sometimes you gotta do that, unfortunately. But yes, it appears we are live on the stream. Hello, you beautiful people. If the chat box would refresh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I popped out the chat. I'm gonna have to do it again where I refreshed it.
It won't refresh the damn chat box.
It wants to be difficult.
It wants to be a bitch. It's like, I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do. What, you expect me to do my job? Vacuum. There it goes. Alright, so Monkai Nanas. So Calcio coming in with the Eldar Monkai thing. Well, you said Monkey, but
it is Monkey, but it's spelled differently. It's Monkeg.
Monkeg? There's no G.
Yeah. I think it's GH at the end of it.
Well, he spelled it Monke. Well, anyway, welcome Calcio. Welcome Zilix and Abergelis LXL, or is it 1X1? Well, I'll just say 1X1. I will leave YouTube and go into a different platform. Okay, goodbye. Good luck on whatever platform you choose, man. There's for recommendations, there's DLive. I would recommend Twitch, but they're going downhill too. So you got DLive, Facebook Gaming's oddly doing well. So Facebook Gaming, you know, that's good for live streams at least. Let's see, isn't there another streaming platform, but it's like really small at the moment?
No clue.
It's like the midget platform.
But I will say this. As shit as YouTube is, I will still prefer YouTube over Twitch any day of the week.
Yeah, I'll take YouTube over Twitch. And YouTube has 1,000,001 problems, but I think Twitch has 1,000,006. So
YouTube has 99 problems, but a crazy ass deer lady ain't one of them.
At least as far as I know.
Not yet, anyway.
At the very least, the platform's so big, the douchebags you can easily avoid on this platform.
Yeah, and this is something I've always said. If there's a content creator you don't like, or you don't like their opinion, yeah, don't have to fucking watch.
That is very true. I got new glasses, by the way, so I can see better.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Good thing I don't need them for like streams and stuff like that, because the screen's close enough. Yeah, but my vision's catching up with my soul. It's all old and decrepit. Science Mile, welcome to the stream. As Zilix just asked before that, how's it going today, boys? We doing good. We doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing better than I was. Not gonna lie.
Well, you were at work before now, or were you?
No, I go into work in 4 hours.
Ah, okay. You got a little bit of time.
And I'm still half medicated, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get much sleep.
I know I had acid reflux this morning, so I was like, oh god, I can't keep sleeping.
I hate that shit.
So at 4 a.m., my dad's leaving for work, sees me in the kitchen making breakfast. He's like, aren't you normally asleep right now? I went, thought I'd see you off.
Are you smoking that crack?
Now, if I was doing that, he'd be like, alright, give me some and go back to bed. So, okay, it's just Monkey. They just sling the M word all over the place, and they wonder why nobody likes them. The Eldar? Yeah, nobody likes them. The thing is, for a race that's on the brink of extinction, you think they would, piss
everyone off.
You think they wouldn't want to do that as much, you know? Like, hey, let's make some friends. Or at the very least, let's avoid them. Let's not piss them off. Like, nah, let's just keep poking the bear, because we're pompous pricks. That won't end well.
We're going to tell a Primarch that his favorite brother, who literally helped him rebuild his legion, is turning traitor, and that we're going to need him to kill him. But when we do that, oh, look. He's dressed strangely. He's dressed in fucking drag. But he looks so strange. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and tell him what happens anyway, so he believes us. And while we're at it, we're going to explain what demons are to him.
Genius.
By the way, for people who don't get that reference, Ulthuan had a little sit down with Fulgrim, and that was that did not. Fulgrim strangled an avatar of Cain, which I agree with Arch on this one. I don't know how he did that.
How do you do that?
It's literally a lava monster. He chokeholded it to death. Yeah. Fulgrim, a Primarch, who is still technically human,
was able to strangle
a lava monster.
And their physical form is more or less for show.
That's true too, but I mean, they're still kind of made out of, fucking lava, so.
You could say he had a really good grip. Telcree, welcome to stream. Iron Without. Grima, welcome. Welcome, guys. That's right. Lose Sasagon, you win YouTube is better than Twitch, but if I had to, would watch you guys on Twitch. Okay. Yeah, the only reason I would go over to stream on Twitch is if YouTube gave me like a 90-day ban or something like that. I would jump over on Twitch.
So here's the thing. A while back, I was actually doing streams on Twitch and doing recorded content on YouTube. One, that's just too much stress for me to fucking multitask. And two, after all the shit they've done in the past year and a half, fuck Twitch.
Yeah, I would only go over there if YouTube pulled a ban on me or stopped me from streaming. That would be the only reason, and that's because I know Twitch's system better than I know DLive or Facebook gaming.
Right.
Also, nice glasses. Saw that last night. Thank you. Yeah, they're red frames, so a couple people were giving me shit. They're like, yeah, they look like girl glasses. So, okay.
No, that's just because you're wearing them.
That's true. I'm so sexy. I'm so sexy. People easily mistake it for a very feminine, sensual image. I understand fully. The thing is, I was expecting that throw out, like, hey, they're red, so female. Haha. I was expecting that, but the first person who commented, they spoke like a habitual, like a 12-year-old, like one of those edgy 12-year-olds who think they know everything. He's like, he says, that's frames that looks feminine, but okay.
I really wish I didn't know
I think if you put...
but I know exactly what you're talking about.
If you put but okay at the end of a sentence, it's such a pompous, shithead thing to do. It's not even... I don't know why people do that. It's they'll make a statement. They'll be like, oh, it's easier to do it this way, but okay. That's what a fucking 12-year-old does, dude. It's like, but okay. If you do that, I'm convinced you're 5. It's such an edgy, pompous little shithead thing to do. You don't look mature. If anyone does that, trust me, you don't look mature. You look like a habitually offended child.
So when I was moderating
passive aggressiveness.
When I was moderating for the other YouTuber, the majority, and when I say majority, I mean like 70-80% of his viewers were between the ages of like fucking 13 and 16. So I really wish I didn't know what you're talking about, but I know exactly what you mean. And I hate that shit.
It's very annoying.
I do. It is, because it's just the most superfluous, redundant bullshit. It's completely unnecessary. This is like, I'm going to put more words on because it makes it sound more important. Right. What? That's not how that works. Yeah, it is, because I'm smart. Like, put the bucket back under your chin so it'll catch the drool.
Yeah. Kids can be annoying, but at least on the bright side, they learn the hard way that maybe you shouldn't talk to people like that. That's how most people learn. Real life is the cruelest teacher. Well, anyway, today for anyone tongue-tied. Now, for everyone who's jumping on, we are doing a Q&A episode today. So, if you guys want to ask us questions and stuff, we're right here. It's a Q&A session. So instead of having like a set amount of topics we typically talk about and then go off on 1,000,001 tangents, we're just gonna let you guys provide the tangents.
Yeah, pretty much. I will say that.
Now we didn't. One thing we didn't do is discuss like the rules of the Q&A. I'll add some. No questions about our political affiliations. All right, let's just not get into that unnecessarily. and no questions about like our personal locations. Like, you know, you can ask about like the state. That's fine. That's like a big enough radius. But don't ask what town we live in. Don't ask ask that stuff. That's the equivalent of doxing ourselves. So just ask what everything else for me is okay, more or less. I can't think of anything else I'd put a rule on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, anything about our channels, about like what we're planning on doing, stuff like that. You know, anything's good except for, like, as Magan said, political stuff, drama bullshit, stuff like that. Let's not do that here.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary. You'll notice the name of the podcast is Geekus Theoreticus, not Politicus Theoreticus. That's called Parliament.
Zelix, my favorite space wolf, is the dead one.
Okay.
I don't think you caught that one, as Magan.
What was it at the bottom? Okay, have a harsh one for Ludus. What is his favorite space wolf? You said it's a dead one?
No, the dead one.
Oh, the dead one. The dead one comes to mind as like Lehman Russ.
But he's not dead. He's just in the warp. Nah, he's fucking dead. He got skinned and turned into a coat. Oh, wait a minute. He is now the coat of Fabius Bile. You know what? That actually pisses me off. I might go on that tangent a little bit later.
What, the Fabius Bile thing or Lehman Russ?
So, I don't know if you intend on playing this, but in Inquisitor Martyr, in the Prophecy DLC, the main villain is Fabius Bile, and all of his followers are fucking Nurgle. Like, Plague Marines.
Only?
Yeah. You got your Plague Marines, your Plague Carriers, all that shit. It's strictly all of his followers for the game are Nurgle. And it's because Nurgle is the main enemy of the game. But I was like, you know, fucking Noise Marines would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Because, you know, it's not like Fabius Bile is, you know, fucking Emperor's children or anything. But hey,
that's why I'm confused. I thought they were Slaanesh.
They are Slaanesh.
Okay, so why is he with Nurgle?
Exactly!
I'm very confused.
In Zelix, I'm not going to answer that question because I fucking hate the Space Wolves. I don't like them. I don't. You're not going to get me to answer this question.
Fair enough. Alright, well, since Fulgrim is such a big wanker, no wonder he has such a good grip to choke an avatar.
I mean, that's fair, because that was at the point when he started dressing in drag.
Fair enough.
Wait a minute, it makes sense. Fulgrim, it makes sense. Fulgrim and Fabulous both start with F.
Fabulous.
He is fabulous.
I'm fabulous!
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you the memes for Fulgrim are, I think, are some of the best. The weirdly cute ones are like when they like try and depict him as like best friends with like best buds with
Horus or Ferrus Manus.
Usually Ferrus Manus. Those ones are like I there's one that's weirdly cute. Like you ever like read a meme and you didn't you're like, I'm not gonna be like affected by this, but then you read it and you're like, oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, you need to watch my 2 upcoming Lord videos where I rank the legions, because I just used instead of using pictures, I went with memes.
Entertainment value.
So there were a few of them that I was looking through the memes and be like, that isn't funny, that isn't that funny, that isn't that funny, and then I would just start laughing uncontrollably. I'm like, I'm getting that one.
All right. Also, welcome, Murderous Kitten. Only just saw towards the top of the current chat. Also, welcome, Caventus. What do you think? So this is our first like official Q&A question. What do you think about Homunculi covens lore-wise?
That's the Dark Eldar, right?
Yeah,
if I remember.
That's why, like,
I love the Homunculi.
You're gonna take lead on this one. I know the Homunculi, and I know like how hardcore they are, but I don't know all the details. So,
for anyone who doesn't know, I am actually a sadomasochist. So, anything Dark Eldar, Night Lords, anything like that, I love. Just on the basis of that's like my cup of tea right there. And Homunculi scare Night Lords. And that's how fucked they are in the head. So that will be that's why I love the homunculi. They're sadistic little assholes. They keep orcs as pets because they're hard to inflict pain on.
That's fun.
I am watching the stream. Too.
It's like just stabbing it, like it's like what would that? Damn it!
But I will say this. I am going to do, because I don't do this often. I am going to do a shameless plug. If y'all do want to laugh, and if y'all want a little bit of controversy, I believe it's tomorrow. Let me look.
Tomorrow.
Yep, it's tomorrow and the 17th. I rank the Loyal Legions tomorrow and the Traitor Legions on the 17th on my channel, going from worst to best. Some of them are predictable. Some actually even surprised me. Like I'll give y'all a little sneak peek. My second favorite Loyalist Legion surprised the fuck out of me that it was there. And before I did the research on the legions, my first favorite Loyalist Legion would never have been there. It would have been either close to the middle or the middle.
Are the White Scars your favorite?
I'm not going to say, because that would be giving it away. Well, I think a lot of people would know which one would be my favorite Loyal Legion right now, but it would be giving it away.
True enough. Alright, so let's see. Serious question. This is from Science Mile. Serious question. Which route are you going to take first for Cyberpunk 27 Street, Core, or Nomad? I know which one I'm going with, but I want to hear Ludus's.
You're going to have to watch when I stream it in about, 11, 12 hours.
11 or 12 hours?
I have to work tonight, asshole.
Yeah, boy! I'm going to beat him to the punch. I'm streaming it.
You know what? Here's the funny thing. You might do it quicker than me, but I'm going to do it better.
Oh, bring it.
I'm going to have that big, thick horse cock, and I'm just going to rub it all over everything. So no matter what happens, I will do it better.
Sure. Ding, ding.
By the way, I love this one because now Zelix is trying to trap you. What do you think the Thousand Sons could have done better? No help, Ludus.
All right, 1 second. I'm still going to answer the first question. For those who are curious about which route I'm taking, I'm going with Street, unless the chat... I am going to put, the chat's, argument for it. At the beginning of the stream, I'm going to ask everybody, hey, which should I do? My plan, if it's just nobody cares, I'll just do Street. But I'm going to put it up to people and see what the chat wants to see most. Nomad, Street, or Corporations. I'll put it up to them, and if there's an overwhelming amount of people who want to see a certain point POV of the game, I'll take that. But if it's just down to me, I'm going Street. That's my go. Now, there's one. Greetings, hey Jorge, welcome to chat, boy. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Jorge.
And do you guys think Alpha Legion will be conformed? Secret loyalist. Oh, be confirmed. Okay. Be confirmed secret loyalist in official canon.
I think when they do Dark Angels be confirmed traitors. I think that would be cool though if they just flip the Alpha Legion and the Dark Angels.
That would be interesting. I don't think they have any plans to do it soon.
No.
So. I will jump into Zelix's question 1 second, because there's one at the bottom that multiple people might be wondering, who are just jumping in. Q&A session, what's in the menu for today, 40k or other themes? It's just general Q&A. We only have 2 rules about the questions you ask. No political affiliation or politically related questions, and nothing about our personal locations and stuff like that. So, as long as you avoid those topics, go ahead. You can ask questions about our channels, us, our, things like that. Or 40k. All's good.
I just looked it up to get more in depth on what the 3 things are. It's Street, Nomad, or Corpos. Yeah. And I'm leaning Nomad, honestly.
I'm not, but that's because I think Nomad just doesn't immediately attract me. I know some people are interested in that, but it's not a route I want to do. But I'm not opposed to it. If again, I'm gonna put it up to chat when the time comes, and if people want Nomad, I'll do Nomad. But I think other people, the thing is, I already know 4 other creators who are streaming it who are going to do Nomad. So,
well, the reason I said Nomad is because I was originally looking, because it said core. So I was thinking like more paramilitary until I found out it was just corporate. And I was like, man, fuck that.
corporations.
Yeah. That's why I was like, man, fuck that Nomad.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing a street. I think it'll be interesting to see like the gangster perspective. All right, so I lost my spot.
Now we're on the Asmogon. What do you think the Thousand Sons could have done better? Help Ludus.
All right. What could they have done better? If we're talking about like with communication with the Emperor and warning him about Horus, it probably wasn't the wisest idea of Magnus to send a thing is, I understand why Magnus felt the urgency to send a psychic message all the way to Terra. But the thing is, for someone as smart as Magnus, I think that was a really dumb move. Because I think he knew that the Emperor wasn't going to respond well to that.
Well, I think he was just panicked at that point, and I think it also has to do with... I think he had... Again, it goes back to the phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intention. I believe he had the right intentions, but he was just so arrogant. He's like, well, I know better than everyone, and this should be safe to do.
Yeah, that would be what I would say is the only thing that immediately strikes me as Magnus's biggest mistake is he, despite as smart as he is, he didn't think about the repercussions of sending a psychic message all the way to Terra when the Emperor has voiced very loudly his feelings about using that stuff. So...
To be fair, Lehman Russ didn't either before the Burning of Prospera. He was so hell-bent on, I finally get to fuck up the Thousand Sons. Maybe I should confirm this with Dad. Nah, fuck it. That thought went right out of his head.
Yeah, they made the same mistake. That's why I don't think Magnus really was stupid or anything. I think he panicked. I do agree with that. But at the end of the day, that is the mistake he inevitably made and what he could have done better.
No, I waited till after he answered the question, Zelix, and then I put in my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I let him answer first.
My answer's still the same.
Yeah.
Alright.
The next one is Telkri. What legion do you feel need more lore, and anything specific lore you would want to add for them? I have a list. I have a fucking list.
I'm happy it wasn't chapter, because there's a few chapters I think are really, like, skimmed over. But Legion. Yeah. Let's see. Well, one second. I gotta go through my head who has the most lore. So Ultramarines have the most. Space Wolves and Imperial Fists have a lot of lore.
I'll give you that one.
I think that would be White Scars then. For Loyalist. Did he specify Loyalist or?
No, he just said which Legion. But
that includes Traitors. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, let's do Loyal and Traitor.
Okay, that makes this harder.
Well, no, because you already said White Scars for the Loyal, so who would it be for the Traitor?
I'm thinking. Alright, let me go through as the most lore for Traitors. Let's see.
Like I said, I have a fucking list, and it's probably gonna be like 4 legions apiece.
Sons of Horus, I know they go through a bunch of different names, but Sons of Horus have the most, I'd say. Let's see.
As far as Traitors, probably them and the Word Bearers probably have the most.
Yeah. World Eaters have quite a bit.
Yeah, World Eaters have some fun lore. Emperor's Children have a good amount of lore too.
I think most of the Traitors actually have quite a bit.
I'll say
Night Lords. I don't know a ton about them, but I don't know if that's just my lack of research.
No, that would be my answer too. Would be Night Lords. So I'm going to narrow it down to 2 each. For the Loyalists, I would say White Scars and Raven Guard.
Yeah.
For the Traitors, I would say Night Lords. And honestly, here's something that I found kind of weird. Iron Warriors. And here's why I say this. The lore they have now makes me hate them. But they have very little lore. So if they had more lore and it was written better, they could be a really good legion. Because they're not...
I'm going to take argument with the Tau. It's like, that's one of my biggest issues. I hate the lore of the tower right now. Like, there's nothing that brings me in. Like, nothing that hooks me, makes me interested to look into them any further than just the basics I know. I really think, like, the Tau needs a lot of TLC. So I'd say, like, that's, like, my same take with the Tau is, I think there's a lot of people that are like, what's your thoughts on the Tau? And then I tell them, well, they're my second least favorite faction. And everybody gets all up in arms, like, oh, but they're my favorite. It's like, I don't see it. I have nothing of interest in them.
And Jorge kind of extrapolated on this. He said Iron Hands don't have that much lore written about them either. And yes, that's true. Like I said, I have a list because, like I've mentioned a couple times, I have a lore video coming out this week and next week where I rank the Loyal and Traitor Legions. And a lot of my complaints on some of the ones that are lower on the list is the lack of lore.
Yeah.
For instance, I know at least 3 legions that had affected 2 loyal and 1 traitor. That the lack of lore, or the fact that there was very little lore and it was kind of written poorly, that actually affected where they were on that list would be the Raven Guard, Iron Hands, and the Iron Warriors. They were all affected by that fact. Or those facts, I should say.
We apparently missed a question according to Calkiel. Have you ever considered playing Star Wars Legion? I just reversed my own statement. Okay, so just asking us a question.
I've never heard of it, so I honestly have no opinion on it.
No, I haven't played it either. So, have I... so the answer is no, but that's because we would have had to know about it to consider playing it.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Next question is by James Knighton. If there was a 40k RPG, what would you guys want to see? That's actually a really good one. And I have an answer, but it's kind of impossible.
Wait, are we talking like a tabletop RPG? Because I'm pretty sure there is one, isn't there? Or something
I was assuming a video game RPG.
That's what I was initially thinking, but now I'm second guessing. Like, does he mean tabletop or just a general RPG?
Because he said if there was one being made, I would be assuming that it was video game because there's already so many tabletops.
So if we're talking like a RPG a la Skyrim or a la like Fallout, like that kind of RPG, it would have to. My assumption was you would have to take the reins of an Inquisitor, because that's like the only one I could think of that you could have interchangeable armor and stats and new equipment and stuff like that. With Space Marines, you just have a standard loadout. Like, they wouldn't pick up any new stuff. They certainly wouldn't equip enemy or Xenos gear.
So you're gonna hate my answer to this, but I would want an RPG with leveling, with an equipment system similar to WoW. So if you split it up with Imperial forces, you could play like a Space Marine, an Inquisitor, a Guardsman. Or maybe, just like...
So you mean one with, like, a ton of different classes?
Oh, yes.
Well, the thing is with Space Marines...
It would never happen, but it would be great.
It would never happen. The thing is, it just... With Space Marines, it doesn't make sense, because they wouldn't... They'd only wear their power armor.
Well, so, if you have an RPG with a leveling system, it would make sense, because the stats on it would get better over time. Similar to... Dawn of War 2.
So instead of gear, it would just be skill set and perks?
No. Like Dawn of War 2, where it has the skill set, but it also has the gear that levels up with them. Well, it doesn't level up with them, but as your characters level, they get higher level gear, and the higher level gear will have better stats than their previous gear.
Okay. I can kind of see it, but again, Space Marines... There's only so much I could think of for interchangeable stuff.
Different types of weapons.
Though there's plenty of weapons, but it's the armor.
Well, no, and again, with the armor, it would just be like the stats would change. You could theoretically change between regular Space Marine armor and Terminator armor, or maybe, and this would be broken as shit. But have you played Borderlands 3 yet?
I played the first 3 hours? 3 to 4 hours?
Did you play as Mose?
I played as the robot hunter.
Okay, then no. So one of them gets an ability where they can jump in a robot temporarily, and as lore breaking as this would be, it would still be kind of cool. Have that ability for a space marine, but they jump in a dreadnought.
Yeah, that's how that works.
I mean, it's not how that. It's not lore friendly.
It's like, let me jump in this walking sarcophagus.
No. But hear me out. But like as a quick burst damage ability, that would actually be something cool to do. It's not lore friendly, but video game mechanics wise, that would be pretty cool.
To be fair, I don't think an 40k RPG would be lore friendly. Because if it was, it wouldn't be a very good RPG. But I could definitely see an argument for guardsmen being in the RPG classes. I could see that for the Inquisitor. I could see that for the Assassinorum. Like, there's certainly plenty of options.
You can do it for Space Marines too, because you have Devastators. Tactical.
Yeah, but those are different specializations. I could say the specializations for that, yeah, but again, they're very specific. There's not as much choice as much as it is just what type of Space Marine.
I mean, that would kind of be like the same thing as doing different guardsman classes. For instance, like a heavy weapons unit versus just a regular guardsman.
Jorge Asmagon Invictus Warsuit. Oh yeah, that's a warsuit. He said Dreadnought. Like, we were talking Dreadnought, not the warsuit.
No, I actually did say Dreadnought.
So,
because I think
the argument wasn't jumping into a mech; it was jumping into, like, he specifically said Dreadnought.
And I said it on purpose because that would be a really cool thing for burst damage, and it would just be absolutely adorable.
Yeah,
I think Dreadnoughts are adorable. I really do.
I think they're cool looking. Adorable. I don't know if I'd use that word.
They are. They waddle.
They waddle, so they're adorable.
They waddle, so they're adorable. Forget the fact that they pick up things and crush them in their claws. They're still adorable.
It's like one picks you up and is crushing you. Oh, you're so cute, girl.
he picks up a rogue Inquisitor and starts crushing him, and the Inquisitor just like starts rubbing the claw like, oh, it's so cute. That was a weird fucking rabbit hole to go down.
That was weird. Alright, so did we miss any questions while you're going
yeah, because I'm highlighting them as we go down so I know where we are. Okay. Jorge asks, if Ahriman made the rubric with a con ending, do you think the spell would work? I don't know what that question is asking, honestly.
Neither do I. Ahriman made the rubric with a con in the end. Do you think this spell would work? What?
We're retarded, so we don't know the question.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that one. We'll put a pin in that one.
Next one is by Horace Lupercal.
Oh, welcome to stream, by the way, man. Sorry, we're late and welcome you.
Sons of Horus. Are you painting a Black Templar live stream, or are you still doing your Space Wolves?
Yep, I'm still doing my Space Wolves. I have a 500-point army of Space Wolves, which aren't even primed yet, so that'll be later. But I have like over 80-something Space Marines of my Black Templars to do, plus a tank. So that I have 2 Space Marine armies technically going. I was just gonna do one Space Wolves just to make it easier for myself, but fuck it.
Did you see the new special Space Wolf model they're selling on the GW store?
No, but I don't constantly check.
Yeah, he's standing there with his leg cocked, pissing on a tree.
What?
I don't know why you thought I was being serious about that for any amount of time.
It's GW.
I mean, that's fair. They would probably do it for that smart ass like me just to piss people off.
They do a lot of shit to just piss people off.
They breathe.
They breathe. Every time they breathe, they throw out a lawsuit to somebody. Cease and desist to stop selling these STL files for people to 3D print their own fucking shit. How dare you? But yeah, I got 2 armies going of Space Marines. I got my Black Templars, which is the majority, and I have a 500-point worth army from the Combat Patrol box Space Wolves, plus Ragnar Blackmane, so it's a little bit more than 500 points now.
I will say, if I ever did start collecting, I am going to backtrack something. I would collect one of 3 legions. It would either be Thousand Suns, White Scars, or Night Lords.
I'd say out of those, Thousand Suns are pretty good. I mean, last I checked. I don't know.
White Scars have a speed advantage because they have infinite speed.
They are very vehicle heavy focused, so they're more expensive.
I like this idea. I can't remember if I heard Arch say it or if I heard someone else say it, but I like the idea of thinking about this instead of like regular dreadnoughts, because the White Scars hate dreadnoughts for obvious reasons. Have one on like treads or a rocket sled, but make it a. And I think I mentioned this in my ranking video. I actually start laughing as I'm talking about the White Scars. I'm imagining a Hellfire Dreadnought on a rocket sled. So it's just zipping on the battlefield with rockets shooting out.
Okay.
That sounds like something White Scars would fucking do, though.
Okay, but there's a lot of things they would fucking do.
That's true. Sounds like something orcs would do as well. But,
oh, wait, somebody says, speaking of Black Templars, a nice shirt. I was going, yeah! Flesh gets furry apocalypse. Yeah. I got gifted it the other day. A friend of mine showed up to the house to say hi. He was wearing one, and I made a joke like, fuck, cool, you got one of those shirts from Flash Kits? I went, damn, I wish I could get one. And I jokingly said, like, do you got a spare? And he's like, oh, well, as a matter of fact, I do. Merry Christmas. Oh, God, that was weird. Yeah, he stopped by because his family were on their way to Portland. Apparently they're going to travel for winter. So apparently for Christmas they're going somewhere.
To Portland. Why?
Portland, Maine.
Oh, okay.
We have a city. That's where our airport is. That's where, like, there's an airport in Bangor and there's an airport in Portland, I believe. But
because I knew you were in Maine, but I was like, why are they going all the way to Portland, Oregon? Because I didn't know there was a Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine is like I'd say our biggest city, and it's also the one with like the most crime and shit. But they were going there, and from there they were traveling somewhere else. I totally ghosted where he said he was going. I think he said Miami. So don't quote me. But yeah, they were stopping by to say Merry Christmas, and he gifted me the shirt. He apparently bought 5.
So Murderous Kitten and Jackson have jumped onto my autism train. Murderous Kitten said a dreadnought on repulsor lift is actually a good idea, especially White Scars would do it, and it could be lore friendly. And then Jackson said Treadnought, TRED.
Treadnought.
Like, see, I was
copyrighted,
but on treads it would still be too slow.
Wait, do we pass over any questions, or was that
Not that I saw, and I have it on live chat.
Jorge said something. The Iron Warriors and the Dark Mech can't have a lot of lore written about them because GW is pushing Chaos God aligned Legion. I would also involve making more Chaos neutral models. What does that mean? Like Chaos models that could apply to any of the gods?
Even then, that would be exceptionally hard to do because you also got to think about Chaos Mutation.
Yeah,
for
they
Nurgle,
have very
you have
distinct appearances.
Yeah, because with Nurgle, you've got the Plague Marines. With Followers of Khorne, you normally have the Skull of Khorne. With Sled, Jorge said Sled Knot. I like that one. I love that one actually. With the Emperor's Children, you normally have bits of skin hanging off their armor.
Yeah, the thing is, another reason I wouldn't be a fan of quote-unquote chaos neutral models is that loses a lot of their flair. Like, imagine how blank those models would have to be to fit any of the chaos gods. I don't know, that would be kind of stupid. Because a huge part of the charm of Khorne, of Slaanesh, of Tzeentch, and, of any of the 4 chaos gods, of Nurgle, is their aesthetic. They're so different from one another, yet they're technically speaking on the same side. Slaanesh, spikes, monstrous-looking, insectoid-looking fucking shit. Then you have Nurgle, pus and zombies and like hanging flesh. Then you got Tzeentch, which is bird boys. And then you got Khorne, which is just, red demons, and then you hear like doom music, like.
I just got the funniest idea, but the most fucked up idea, but I guarantee you would win every match this way. And this is going to be a little bit out there, and this is probably going to freak a couple people out, but I don't care because it's genius. So, like, get an Emperor's Children army, and like actually peel off like a small section of skin and glue it to the miniatures, so there's actual skin on them. That would fuck people up.
Gross.
It is, but it would fuck people. Tell me that would not fuck. If you go into a store and go to like, okay, I'll do a 500 point game with someone, and they just start putting out all these impressions, you're like, what's that? Oh, that's just actual skin. I forfeit. Fuck this.
The thing is, people are already doing that over the price. It's like, oh, I thought you guys sold this for $90. It's like, no, now we're selling them for $140. Oh, okay, goodbye. Oh my god.
Zelix says, "Nice cat, Ludus." Yes, she is always here. I cannot turn around with the. Yeah, that's my old Burmese. Yeah.
I don't open my door because my cat will come in and he'll harass me. He'll be like, shut the fuck up.
And then he asks, "How would Papa Smurf beat back chaos?" What are you talking about? Papa Smurf is an agent of chaos.
Wait, where is it?
This is the very bottom.
Oh.
He said, "Nice cat, Ludus." Anyways, how would Papa Smurf beat back chaos?
He wouldn't.
Yeah.
If it were not for plot armor and plot contrivance, he'd be fucked by now.
Yeah. He is the most useless Primarch out of all of them, and he has almost single-handedly caused the fall of the Imperium.
I'm just saying, the Codex Austerities, I stand by, is still a mistake.
Yeah.
Because what was already a fucked up, chaotic mess with the legions is now further exacerbated by the fact that everybody's all over the place, and nobody has the same chain of command. Like, again, nobody ever acknowledges this when they're talking about, like, they're like, Ultramarine fanboys will always defend it hardcore, but they can never have, I've never heard a good defense. Like, they already are more chaotically divided than they've ever been. There's no communication between the chapters. There barely was with the legions, okay?
So
now you're telling me that somehow it's better now that they're divided in groups of 1,000 all over the fucking place and they don't ever talk to each other unless they literally run into one another? And even then, it's begrudgingly?
Yeah, imagine the Ultramarines working side by side with the Mortifactors. That would be funny.
That'd be hilarious.
But, and on that note, though, there was, I believe it's called the Iron Wall Doctrine that Rogel Dorn put in place. And there was
the final wall.
Final wall. Whatever the fuck it's called.
It's the policy with Dorn's chapters that if that final if that protocol is put into place, all of the Dornian inherited chapters and successors will all merge back into the Imperial Fists.
And they've done that once, and it was almost completely disastrous because they could not work alongside each other.
Because they'd been divided for too long.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's kind of like it was. I think it was a good idea and a bad idea at the same time because you do have factions like the Imperial Fist and the Black Templar who cannot fight side by side under the same command because they're just so different. But at the same time, if you wouldn't have split them up in the first place, you might have been able to keep it where they
cohesive
aren't that different. Yeah, where they're more cohesive.
That's the thing. That's the one argument I still have not heard a good argument for the Codex Astartes. Nobody denies it either. Even Ultramarine fanboys acknowledge that that's the biggest problem with the Codex is because it divides everybody up. Nobody's organized, nobody's willing to work together, and that causes more losses than if they had just stayed as legions.
I guess I should reward this. How would each of you fix his fuck up? I'm assuming you mean
which fuck up? Like we got a few here. Like we got a few fuck ups we can list.
I would have killed him instead of Ferris Manis. That's how I would have fixed his fuck up.
So I can't. Let's put a black line through that writing and then write over it with pen. Dies.
Orc snipers were a thing on Armageddon. Why the fuck wasn't Gilliman there at that time?
Hashtag missed opportunities.
Yeah, really.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah, but
That is their genetic flaw, plot armor. I do a comparison, and I love this because this shows how fucking angry this makes me. I make the comparison that the Ultramarines have so much plot armor. If it were actually a physical thing, you could take all their plot armor and make a full-on 30k era expeditionary fleet out of it.
that's a good one.
But it's true. That's the fucked up thing.
Yeah, sadly. Their plot armor is ridiculous. And I don't know why GW has such a love boner for the Ultramarines. Like,
they're the poster boys.
Yeah, but the thing is, they don't need to be. They've been the poster boys for the last couple editions, but I don't know why.
You know what? You know who I would switch them out with, and you're gonna hate this. I would either A, come out and say the Bloodravens are descended of the Thousand Sons, or do some mystifistical, stupid bullshit that they've probably already done, and have new chapters created from Traitor Gene Seed and make them the focus. That would be cool.
That would be interesting. The new chapters being made for Traitor Legions and having them fit on the Loyalist side of things. I think that'd be interesting. Unless you're referring to more Chaos Warbands.
No. I meant that in a literal sense. Like, so, for instance, come out and say, like, the Bloodravens are descended of 1,000 Sons. Or, like, another one I've heard is, like, I want to think it's the Minotaurs, but I'm probably wrong. But, like, say they're descended from the Death Guard. Or something like that. Have them actually confirmed as descended from a Chaos Legion.
Well, if you need a list of currently canonically chapters that don't have unknown foundings, I have the fucking core book.
Oh, I'm not that worried about it. It was just like using those two as an example. One that would make for a really cool story. Actually, there are two off the top of my head that make a really cool story. A chapter completely descended from the Sons of Horus, or a chapter completely descended from the Night Lords. Imagine that. Imagine that fuckery going on.
I can imagine quite a bit of fuckery going on with that. Because a cool idea would be if, like, they found out about their founding and then because they were still loyal, they chose not to accept it, or at the very least they accepted it, but they now, what's the term? Come to terms with it, something like that.
Yeah,
they remain loyal despite their origins.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But like, so the way I look at it is you already have a good opportunity with the Bloodravens.
Yeah,
I think that some legions you could look at that would be easier to integrate into the Imperium as loyal would be Emperor's Children, Sons of Horus, Death Guard, maybe even Iron Warriors. But ones that would be like really interesting would be Word Bearers, Night Lords. Oh, who's the other one I can't think of right now? Let me pull this up because I have an Excel spreadsheet of all the legions because seriously, I took an Excel spreadsheet and I put them all in order by numerical rank, and then I put them in order in a separate line of who's like how I rank them as my favorite. That way I had it. Well, that way I had it visually in front of me, and it was easier to see it.
I'll answer this question real quick, because I think it only applies to me. Will you be picking up the multi-part assaults? I can't talk today. Assaults intercessors. Oh no, he did put an S there. I wasn't adding that. Okay, assault intercessors. Not right now. Well, it's a Christmas season. I'm saving my money to buy my family gifts. As it is, I don't have much money coming in at the moment. I'm looking into getting a part-time job on the side to help make ends meet. I've called a couple places. The one job I don't want to get back, but I might have to, is the Navy. Because the thing is, I always know they got positions open because of the turnover rate. But I really don't want to go back. Great money, terrible work environment. But yeah. So with that stuff going on, I don't have the money to spend on miniatures right now. I'm just enjoying slowly painting through the ones I got. And once that's done, we'll see what funds I got left over. Hopefully I'll make it to January. That's what I'm hoping anyway. But that stuff's going on the side. Not a big deal. So short answer, I can't right now. But at one point I will probably pick up a couple because I need to balance out my Templars. There's a lot of shooting units and they're more their chapter playstyle is more geared towards melee.
The last Legion I was thinking of that would be interesting to reintegrate would be the World Eaters.
Oh, the World Eaters. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how they would handle that.
They would get along fabulously well with the Black Templar.
True. I mean, in all honesty, true. The Black Templars have a lot of practices and traditions that they inherited from the World Eaters. So, the chains around their weaponry, they don't know this because Sigismund didn't tell them, but that's from the World Eaters.
Well, so funny thing is that it would sound like a completely gay conversation, but you could see a loyal World Eater chapter up to a Black Templar want to smash. And that would actually be what they do.
I could see that on a meme, they get up close, want to smash, yeah, and then it cuts to them beating in an orc's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny and accurate.
It really is. It unfortunately is.
Well, all right. So Merskin says, "What kind of shitstorm would be needed to get that sleepy pussy, pun intended, lion to wake up?" Oh, Lionel Johnson. I don't know. I think they've tried everything at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this now. I hope he never fucking wakes up. I hate him as a character. I am currently researching him.
No. Get this. What if they woke him up, immediately got him killed?
You know what I would enjoy?
That'd be hilarious.
They immediately wake him up and he falls asleep.
It's like, who is you? It's like, damn it, we almost had him.
But I would love if they just wake him up and he immediately fall. I couldn't think of any other Chaos God from really fall to, maybe Siege. But if he just immediately fell to Slaanesh. That would be so perfect.
Yeah.
Because then you could have
I'd say Siege more than Slaanesh, though. I mean, Lionel never really struck me as Slaanesh-y with his issues.
But imagine him in drag, though.
That'd be hilarious.
You could have Lionel Johnson and Fulgrim, and they could start their own hair metal band. And I love hair metal, and I still made that joke.
Oh, God.
Because it's true. One of my favorite ones is Twisted Sister, but they put on the makeup to fucking paint roll.
But to answer the question seriously, what kind of shit someone they have to get into sleep to wake up? The lion? I don't know. They're currently GW's writing strategy is to use Gilliman as the MacGuffin, the living MacGuffin kind of character. So my guess is this is just a complete shot in the dark. Because the thing is, I don't think their writing's even predictable now. You could say that's a compliment or not, but their writing's really not predictable right now. They somehow continue to disappoint with certain decisions they make. So I can't give you
in a bad way.
They're predictable they're unpredictable in a very bad way. So I'd say I honestly don't know what they would do to wake him up. My guess is this is just a shot in the dark, but what they'd end up having to do, and this is I'm assuming 12th edition in the future or something like that, where they kill Gilliman off, right? Somehow, some way, kill him off, and then they now need another Primarch living MacGuffin to take his place. They might at that point. My guess is they would actually bring Dorn back before they would bring the Lion. But for the argument's sake, something like that in terms of writing convenience, they would bring the Lion back.
I still say one of the better Primarchs to bring back loyal would be the Khan. Just because he would be so fucked up from the years and millennia of torture that it would obviously affect him. But if he remained loyal through all of it and he was just that tortured soul, that would be really cool.
That'd be cool. The thing is, with this being 40k, though, I don't know if I'd want him to remain loyal after all that. Because that sounds more like the respectable, like defeats all odds hero kind of thing, right? That's really what 40k satirizes a lot of the time.
I can justify him remaining loyal, though, even after being tortured for that long. Because he was always on the fence about who was loyal and who was traitor during 30k. So this would be kind of like his, like, he would come back and be super paranoid. He would still be loyal to the Emperor, but he'd be paranoid about everyone else, but he would still technically be loyal. That's what I'm talking about. He would probably be kind of almost like the Dark Angels would. He would have no scruples about killing loyal groups because he would think they are traitors at that point, just because of how fucked up he is. Or it would also be cool to try and see the White Scars the successor chapters, try and rein him in and be like, no, everyone's not out to get you. It's okay. Go back and take your nap, wise one. It's fine. We're all good. No one's against you. Just we're
all
good.
Friends here. He's just like breathing in the car. Everyone's he's just like
don't
darting back and forth.
Don't make us go get Vulcan to give you a hug again.
Vulcan Vulcan just like bashes in, like just picks him up and starts shaking him back and forth. Rockabye baby on the tree, and he's just sucking.
No, I got one better.
Oh, can you imagine though? Like, in all seriousness, can you imagine like if he does come back and then his legion, or well, his chapter, I suppose, would be facing up against Yukari in a battle? Oh, he would go ape shit.
Or speed cult.
Well, he would just lose his fucking. But in one way or the other, one he would run like a bitch because because of the past experience, or he'd run at them like a psychopath.
One of the things that I would love to see, and it would never happen, this would be something I would have to see in meme format, is Jagatai Khan on the speeder bike and Vulcan like hugging him around the neck, going wee. And his legs just flapping in the air. It's so retarded to think about, but it is funny.
Oh, the memes.
Oh god, this is why I love 40k. The memes are so great.
The memes are
actually
beautiful.
That's not why I love 40k. I love 40k because it actually is very rich in its lore when it's not being fucked with.
Which it habitually is being fucked with. By the way, just because we haven't done it yet, welcome to Billy Mount and Overlord CZ. I see you guys are in the chat. Forgot to welcome you guys. So, welcome! And James Mackin, but he's only said one. He might have left. So, yeah, go ahead and continue.
I made this point in, I think it was in my second Gladius video, because I've started trying to fill up the dead space in games like Gladius and Total War Warhammer and talking about stuff that interests me. So right now, I've been watching a lot of Sabaton videos, and I already like World War I, World War II history. So I've been talking about some of the stuff that from Sabaton videos, like, for instance, Sergeant Alvin York, the Russian Night Witches of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. So when I was talking about them, I was mentioning how there are some people against women being in the military. And they're a good argument for why it shouldn't fucking matter. They were amazing night bombers. And I kind of carry that argument over into 40k. You know, people talking about we need 40k, we need female space marines. Okay, but you have the Sisters of Battle, you have the Sisters of Silence, you have female Imperial Guard characters. I can't remember her name, and I actually mentioned this in the video. There was a World Eater chick after they turned traitor. She was, I think, the captain of their flagship with Angron and Karn. After they turned traitor, she essentially slaps Karn right in the face. After he's gone absolutely batshit, and they're talking about, like, oh, we need more representation of women doing cool stuff in 40k. bitch.
Well, they're not.
Someone bitch slapped Card.
Again, they're not fans of the lore. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't. The thing is, the moment you mention this is a battle to any of these cretins, the moment you mention them at all, what happens every time? They lock up.
No, I know.
They lock up. They either say, "Well, I'm done arguing." They always find an excuse to get out of the argument at that point because they know they've lost. I've never heard them argue that point. I've never heard them like. They either don't acknowledge the fact that you brought down the slam dunk argument that they don't ever seem to acknowledge, which is the Sisters of Silence, Sister of Battle, and the female guardsmen. They never address those points because if they do, their narrative falls apart.
Captain Lotara Saren or Saren. But yeah, that's the one. And if I remember right, she either slapped Corn or Angron in either fucking way and lived. In either fucking way, that's just awesome. So I mean, you gotta have a lot. You gotta have a lot of balls to say we want female space marines. But when you do that, that downplays the rest of those characters hard, and it's just, in my eyes, it's just not worth it.
All right. So, what was the next question?
I am looking. I see comments. I don't really see questions.
Cutting the name. See if I scan. Okay. More Minotaurs would be nice as an Iron Warrior successor. Chapter Chained to the High Lords of Terra. Interesting storylines to explore. Okay, sure. Sons of the Phoenix, otherwise known as Totally Not Emperor's Children. Okay.
Down at the bottom, James Mackin said something really interesting. Khan will learn from what the homunculi did and become a curse-like figure for the Dark Eldar. I don't know about that because the homunculi scare the fucking Night Lords, which is a feat in and of itself. So I don't think he could.
Hey, let's terrify the galaxy's most hardcore, over-the-top terrorists.
I mean, that would be. It's over the top. That the homunculi can terrify the Night Lord. So it would be over the top for the Khan to terrify the homunculi.
True that. So I'm going through Horse of a Cow. Sorry to hear that. Hope your job search goes. Yeah, it's I live right next to a couple of businesses in this town I live in, so I've applied to one of them. I'm gonna apply to the other soon if I don't hear back from the other. At this point, I'm just trying to find something that'll help me make ends meet and help fund the Grimdark a little bit. But yeah, it is what it is. Don't anybody worry about it. Alright, so I'm still going through most of them. Yeah, you're right. Most of these are comments.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find one that might have more of a question in the statement. Would love if the Fallen are the loyalists and the DA are the traitors. Okay.
That wouldn't happen because it's just absolutely not true. That lore-wise has been absolutely confirmed. Now it's different comparing like Alpha Legion to Dark Angels, which one's loyal and which one's traitor, because neither one of them have scruples about killing people on either side of the spectrum. So it's really hard to pin down which one's actually loyal and which one's actually traitor.
You could make the argument the Dark Angels are kind of both at the moment. At least
same with Alpha Legion, though.
Well, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is, that's kind of like, it would be different saying Dark Angels compared to Fallen, because when you compare those two together, Dark Angels are always going to be more loyal compared to the Fallen, because by that metric, the Dark Angels' goal is to capture or annihilate all the Fallen to keep their secret about their loyalty to the Imperial. So on that metric, they will, by just that one comparison, they'll always be loyal. But compare them to, say, the Ultramarines, or, like I said, hell, even the Alpha Legion, it becomes more of a gray area.
Yeah, I say that. Okay, so let me speed through these. Alright, so I don't see superhuman Genghis Khan. So this is just a statement still, but
yeah.
Calcio said a superhuman Genghis Khan that is as paranoid as Joseph Stalin. Sounds fun. Sounds very nutty, but it also sounds like it fits 40k, I do gotta say.
It does.
Alright, Moraine. Welcome, Moraine. Hello, fellow nerds. Hello, fellow nerd. Alright, Sabaton is glorious. Yeah.
I love this. My Rain asked this question, and I know she really doesn't know why this wouldn't work. But I want to jump down and get to this question just because I want to laugh at it really hard. Would Black Templar and Thousand Sons work well together?
No.
First off, let's take the fucking fact that one's loyal and one's traitor completely out of the mix. The Black Templar have a massive hate boner for psychers.
Yeah, one of their biggest things, they don't even refer to psychers as psychers, they call them witches. And one of their like codes is burn the witch. Like they are hardcore against they are so hardcore against psychers, they don't even have a librarian. Okay, if they got sent one, they would kill him.
And all the Thousand Sons are psychers.
Exactly. So right there, they just it's like water and oil. They are quite literally opposites in that regard.
They are completely incompatible.
Black Templars are non-psyker, fuck psychers, never going with them. And the Thousand Sons are all psychers.
That would be
so
funny.
They would never mesh well.
That would be funny, though, to see like a loyal Thousand Sons chapter where they're like almost completely psychers. Side by side on campaign with Black Templar.
They'd get killed. By accident, in air quotes.
You know, actually, I don't know if that's true or not, and I'm going to tell you why. They were able to put down Space Wolves really easily. I'm not saying there wouldn't be casualties on both sides, but I could see that being very bloody for both sides.
I would say this, the Black Templars, at least in terms of their track record, they will work with chapters they don't like. Like, they will work with Imperial Fist.
They would never work with an all-psyker chapter.
They definitely wouldn't work well with them at all. But if they were outnumbered, the Black Templars aren't stupid. Like, if they're outnumbered by a chapter they're being supported by, even if they're all psychers, they're not gonna fuck with them. Especially
stupid,
if they...
But they're definitely crazy.
They're crazy. That's the thing. They're crazy, but not stupid. They are very, very crazy. But if they're outnumbered, they will not make that risk. Especially if the other chapter at least appears to be loyal. So they won't take that fight. If they outnumber them, if they have any kind of tactical advantage, they will attack both sides. They will attack the Thousand Sons loyalists, and they will attack whatever enemy they're currently also engaging, if they see a tactical method of surviving it.
Which, by the way, I forgot to mention in this video, but speaking of people working well with the Thousand Sons, fuck the Ultramarines.
Fuck them.
With a giant spiky Slaneshi dildo.
That would be... Another meme just popped in my head. Black Templar, Thousand Sons loyalists bitching and arguing, and then Ultramarine jumps in and says, "Hey guys." They
both just beat the shit out of it.
I know, it's kind of like that JoJo meme. Like, they look at each other, they look at him, and then it cuts to a frame of them kicking the shit out of him.
Well, so the reason I said that is there was an actual... it was in a Horus Heresy book. I can't remember which one. But there was a loyal Thousand Sons psyker after the Legions had turned traitor, and he was helping the Ultramarines fight off a Word Bearer's ship, and he had to use sorcery to help them. Like, okay, but just know that we're going to censor you, and probably going to end up killing you after this. But I just saved your lives. Yes, you did. So we'll make it quick. Ultra twats.
Fuck them. They're so... Fuck them. Pretentious, pompous
No
pricks.
murder skin is called bad dragon dildos. That's dragon dildos.
It's called dragon dildos. Alright, so this is from Zilix. So are Astartes in red armor faster versus orcs since they think red is faster? I mean, technically that would be true. They're up against a WOG, and the orcs do believe red is faster, so technically speaking, that belief should translate to the enemy.
Another internal meme.
But this is also requiring GW to have consistent writing. You know?
That's true, too. Another internal meme, I just imagine that battlefield, and because it's orcs fighting, like, we'll say Blood Angels, because they're in all red.
Blood Angels, yeah.
Imagine, like, Blood Angels, like the little Sonic legs.
And they're just looking at the field like, why are we faster all of a sudden? We're even faster than normal.
And then there's like the Wile E. Coyote the Wile E. Coyote hole in like a cliff because the Blood Angel's running so fast. He can't control him, runs right through a cliff. I don't get it. We need to slow down. What the fuck? Ah!
And then there's just an orc on a rocket going, Red goes faster!
Yeah. actually, that'd be funny. You see the Blood Angel running towards the cliff. You see a rocket boy come up right beside him. Be like, red ones go fast, and then just go up, and he goes into the cliff.
Oh god, the memes.
God, I really wish I was artistic because I would start drawing this shit right fucking now. I'd be like, oh my god, this is great. Let's go.
I could draw a really like basic version of that, but I'd probably take too much time doing that.
Oh shit! Ow! Oh
right.
god, that hurt.
Yeah. All right. So Jorge has another question. What models that GW has removed from the range do you think should return or be remade? This is like one of those questions that it's kind of harder to answer questions like that because you got to think of what's not available now. You know, if it were a question of what is on the line, like obviously you could think of it, and if you couldn't, you could search for it. But when things aren't available anymore, now you have to think of things that don't exist anymore. It's more of a confusing question for that because now you're like, shit, what was there now that is now gone?
Oh god. Breathing sucks.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's been removed that I want back. In terms of remade, though, I would like some updates to the guard forces.
Oh, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, I finally, after like 3 years of not fucking everyone, I finally have an inhaler again.
Yay. Good.
Yeah. My primary care doctor hooked me the fuck up. She gave me an inhaler.
It's like, here's an inhaler, you suicidal bastard.
No, she gave me an inhaler, and then because they're hoping I pass the kidney stone by the end of this week, she's like, "What did they give you?" Tylenol with hydrocodone, which, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, hydrocodone is a narcotic, so you can't get very many at a time, and they only gave me 6 originally. And she's like, "Oh, okay." Writes me a prescription for fucking 20 of them like it's nothing. She's like, "Here you go, just take it out to the pharmacy and they'll take care of you." I'm like,
whatever you do, don't give your doctor's name because now she's officially your dealer.
Well, no. So the funny thing is, I'm supposed to take them. Hold on 1 second. Where is it? Nope, that ain't it. It's this one. Take 1 tablet by mouth every 6 hours. I take them like once a day.
You know what's going to happen now that you said by mouth.
I know.
A joke will be there in the chat.
Yeah. But it's like take them one every 6 hours. I take them like once a day and I'm good for the rest of the day. But for like the first 4 hours, I'm asleep. I'll take it in like 30 minutes later. I'm like,
out cold.
Nah, seriously, these things knock me the fuck out.
Hardcore sleeping pills. Alright, so but yeah, just, you know, for miniatures, I'd say I can't think of any that I want brought back that are off the line now, off the top of my head, but definitely I would like, you know, for remakes, I would like a huge Imperial Guard cleanup. Like, I would really like them to just go through the whole line and really update the fucking models, because a lot of them are really fucking old and haven't been updated in a while. To be fair, there's some Xenos factions that have it worse. Like, there's quite a few of them that still have, like, metal models. But, you know, everyone knows that Drakari and Eldar need to be fucking updated as well. So, it's not like the Guard are the only ones. But the Guard are, like, the ones I want updated. Like, I don't play Drakari or Eldar, so I guess I'm slanted in that way. But, yeah, I can't think of any that have been removed that I want back. I probably will randomly, now that you've asked that, though, later. Like, I'll be, like, just, like, making coffee or lunch. I'll be sitting down, and I'll be like, fuck! Now I know what my answer was. Alright, so, but anyway, that's like the best I could do for an answer for that. How many Sons of Horus do you think are left? Because they got hunted down in the Eye of Terror. Can't be many in the Black Legion. I know of a small breakaway group called the True Sons. How many sons are left? I don't know.
So I'm going to say this. Compared to the original Legion, I'm probably going to say 5% or less.
There's quite very few. They got decimated. Rightfully so.
Well, not really. It wasn't really their fault. Honestly, I put the blame on a couple of different people what happened to the Sons of Horus. And that mostly falls with Erebus, Abaddon, and Little Horus Axeman. But Little Horus later on kind of realized what they had done. He's like, I don't like this. We fucked up. So I can give him a little bit of credit there, but they all blindly followed Erebus. Of course, Erebus and Cor Phaeron are the ones to blame for the Horus heresy. Fuck what anyone else says. They are really the ones to blame. They set it all up. They twisted Lorgar. They twisted Horus. It just falls back to those two. So
yeah, if we're looking at the Horus's corruption specifically, it's Lorgar and his right-hand man, Erebus. Yeah, they're 100% to respond. But no, if we're just looking at the corruption of Horus, though, if we're not looking at what corrupted them.
Well, no. So if you go actually step by step, so originally on Colchis, Erebus and Cor Phaeron were already essentially Chaos cultists. Then Lorgar showed up. They corrupted him. He came up with the plan.
Yeah, but again, that's their corruption. That's Lorgar's eventual fall. I'm talking solely looking at Horus's fall. It's right, Lorgar had a huge hand in that.
Well, no, I'm saying I don't really put as much of the blame on Lorgar for Horus's fall.
Well, I'm not saying as much, but he is amongst that that group that were directly whispering that shit in his ear all the time, and his lieutenants.
The reason I said that is because I mostly put it on Erebus, because Erebus... Well,
everybody does, I'd say. Erebus was there more than Lorgar was doing those stuff, but Lorgar was involved in, whispering those thoughts and those corruptions into Horus's ear, his top lieutenant's ears. Like, that was happening quite a lot with Lorgar, Erebus, and a couple other word bearers. They were constantly corrupting both Horus and his top lieutenants in his legion.
Except for Loken, who had a stick shoved so far up his ass, it would have made an Imperial fist proud. Or in the words of Territory Gadden, he's just straight up and down.
Straight up and down.
Oh, shit.
But Erebus is the key player in the corruption.
Oh, absolutely.
Alright, so... But yeah.
By the way, I will say something. I will say something funny. If anyone gets the chance, check out the Flight of the Eisenstein book, because Rogel Dorn changes colors.
What?
He does. Yeah, he changes colors.
In what?
In Flight of the Eisenstein. He gets pissed and changes color.
Like chameleon? Like what? I'm drawing a blank on this one.
No, he gets so pissed. Like, when you get really angry, you get mad, you start turning red. No, like he turned red.
Yeah. They may be godlike Primarchs, but they could still have a lot of physical reactions that humans do. Red-faced of rage.
He's known as having one of the worst tempers of the Loyalists, which is
when he lets it loose.
Yeah. What's funny about that is because Nathaniel Garrow and Eacton Cruz are sitting there telling him what's happened. And he moves so fast. I want to point this out because this is absolutely fucking amazing for anyone who actually sits there and thinks about it. So, Space Marines are superhuman. They're not peak human. They are superhuman. Rogel Dorn moves so fast that neither Eacton Cruz or Nathaniel Garrow saw it and pulled a punch, but even in pulling his punch, hit Nathaniel Garrow so hard he dislocated his fucking jaw. And he's a Death Guard, and they are hardy little fuckers.
Gotta love Primarchs.
And also, I do want to love this because this is a little bit of a MacGuffin moment. But I love this in this book because this is something that I want to do a video on, and I got really inspired to do this. And I hate saying it because I keep going back to it, but I got inspired to do this video from Arch, and it's on Euphrates Keeler, on if she is a psyker or if she's actually the first saint. Because she does shit that it could really be one or the other. And she goes up to Rogel Dorn while he's in the middle of a temper tantrum, and he's about ready to cut off Nathaniel Caro's head with his chainsword. And she runs up in front of him and goes, "No, stop, Rogel." And he stopped. Euphrates Keeler's a human. If he wanted to, he could cut through her waist with less issues than decapitating Nathaniel Garrow.
If he wanted to, he could give her a look and send her into shock.
That too. Well, no, because Saint Psyker bullshit. But I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to do that video because that seems like a really good thought-inducing video.
I see that. Oh, by the way, Moraine said Ludus Infinium isn't Asmogon a Black Templar and Ludus a Thousand Sun. If you're talking about our icon, technically my icon is a prototype design for the super soldiers in one of the factions in my Grimdark, but they don't look like that anymore, so I just use it as my icon. But Black Templars are my favorite chapter.
And mine is more of a, I can technically get out of this because this is a technicality that I love. The idea behind Ludus Infinium is a renegade, not, he would be considered a successor of the Thousand Sun, but he doesn't adhere to them. He adheres to them more along lines of 30k / Unification Wars and less of what they are in 40k.
Yeah. So, to answer your question, those are our favorite chapters. Oh, his favorite legion is 1,000 Suns. My favorite legion would probably be the Imperial Fists, but my favorite chapter is the Black Templars.
Oh, yeah. I also found out something really funny. I also listed off all 18 legions on like favorite to least favorite. 9 of them I just outright like. 5 of them I'm ambivalent towards. And 5 of them I just outright dislike. Like, I don't really care one way or the other.
No, I know what it means.
Oh, I thought you were like, ambivalent? What?
No, I was just repeating the word because it's a word rarely used. Kind of like degenerate.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
no, degenerate's, I guess, used more nowadays than it's ever. Debauchery, though, that's a word you don't hear a ton. I love that word. Very few people use it.
But, and then the bottom 5 are all ones I just outright dislike. And here's something I noticed funny. Of the 9 that I like, there's there's 5 traitor. Oh, wait a minute. That can't be. Oh, no. Of the 8 that I like, because I can do math, of the 8 that I like, there's 5 traitor and 3 loyal. Of the 5 ambivalent, it's 2 traitor and 3 loyal. And of the 5 I dislike, it's 2 traitor and 3 loyal. And the bottom 2 is 1 traitor and 1 loyal. Which would probably surprise quite a few people.
Balances out.
Oh, the bottom 3 are 2 loyal and a traitor. And the very bottom 1 is a traitor. I think that would surprise people more than
Would that be the Iron Warriors?
No. Fuck. Let me pull that back up. I think the Iron Warriors were at the top of this dislike section.
All
right. They fell number 15 on the list. So if I went 4 up, they would be the 4th one up from the.
Okay. My eye. Alright, so let's do the next question. Alright, so I read that. Would a rogue trader faction or army be something that you would like to see made or explored?
I think they could really do a rogue trader faction.
I don't really think they could do that for 40k. Nah, I don't see that possible. I mean, rogue traders, they don't.
They're very small groups.
Yeah, they really don't culminate into a force. They're, what would you even call it? They're not even like a faction into themselves. They're like more like a sect. Like faction implies a much larger numbers or something substantial.
Yeah.
Rogue traders are like sects. They're like really small groups.
At most, you're looking at maybe 100 people. At absolute most.
Yeah, there's very few of them. And they spread all over the place. So
yeah,
I wouldn't see that possible. And I could see like Rogue Trader, game style thing going on, but not in 40K.
No. I mean, you could have like a Rogue Trader like RPG. That would be kind of cool, but like an actual army setup for them, I just can't see that.
No, there's not enough of them. There's certainly not enough different types of them to make like a diverse like artillery, infantry, elites, HQs. There's not enough of that kind of division amongst rogue traders. Sure. All right. So, well, did the Black Templar work with the Eldar?
What?
It's written really badly. Zillick said, well, did the Black Templar work with the... Is that a question? Because the emoji he put after it was a winky face.
I'm assuming that's a statement. I mean, almost every loyal group has worked with the Dark Eldar because they're fucking useless. And when I say they're useless, I mean the loyal factions, not the
And
Eldar.
again, GW's writing isn't consistent.
That's true, too.
Basically every book they like write down they write down some names of stuff and some general notes about them, and then they go from there. They don't like carefully look at if they include a Space Marine faction, for example, in a novel, they're not gonna intensely look at the established. They're gonna write down, all right, this is the name, the aesthetic, and general idea. Then they'll roll with it, and they might even at some point in the middle of their books throw that out. Even that little bit of shit they have on the side. They really don't value consistency amongst the writers. That's one complication with having a bunch of different writers writing for this universe with Black Library, is so many of the stories will almost contradict each other. And the thing is, they don't get a huge ton of backlash about that because the lore of 40K has a lot of contradictions already in a lot of its established stuff. A lot of these stories, not completely, but kind of, clash with others. Some showcase the personality of certain chapters / legions, and then they kind of look different in a completely different novel. And that's because they have so many different writers and people with too many different desires on where to take the universe. Because they have all these conflicting ideas and personalities writing these stories, that's why we have such a I guess you would call it the disconnected mess that we have right now with the books and the stories and the lore. Like, because some writers give a shit,
and others obviously don't.
Other writers don't have a single care in the world that there's established lore.
Oh shit! I just popped my knee and that fucking hurt.
Popped your knee in?
Yeah. Well, no, like when you stretch and you like pop your elbows or your back. I just popped my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those always feel weird. Like at first it feels like you broke it, but then it's like, okay, that feels better. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just getting old. It doesn't feel nice anymore.
It feels nice for me. Like I'll pop initially and it'll hurt, like for that brief second, like ow, and then it'll it feels better because that pop was like a stretch.
I think after another week or two, I'll go back to that. But until then, where I've just been in so much pain the past couple weeks, I don't think I'm gonna. I'm at the point where like any pain is bad pain.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a masochist, a sadomasochist. Okay, I have now reached the point where any pain is bad pain.
You've reached that age. Congratulations.
Well, no, it's not that age. It's just like, damn. It's like. All the pain I've been in, I just like make it stop.
Make it stop, oh Lord!
Like
I'm in agony.
I don't know if I told you the specifics, but I've in the past 2.5-3 weeks, I went to the ER 4 times. I went to my primary care once.
All right.
And I don't like doctors.
Does anybody like doctors?
Well, so I will say this: I do love my primary care. She's been my doctor for almost 20 years now. She's been my doctor for like 18, 19 years now. So she is the most wonderful lady. She is just awesome.
I don't have a doctor. I rarely go to the doctor's office because it costs money, so I don't ever go. I've had to stitch an injury before at home. So I just I don't recommend that for anybody. By the way, if you have insurance and if you can afford it, go to the doctors. Like, please do. I'm not saying do what I do. What I do is I live out in the middle of the woods, and I won't say I'm self-sufficient, but I'm dumb to an extent when it comes to that stuff. I don't like going to the doctors because the fucking costs they have are ridiculous. Like, I got needles and twine at home and some sanitizing alcohol. I could do a stitch. So, I'm not gonna waste the money on it. But not everyone knows how to do that stuff, and I'm not saying I know how to do it right, but they've healed.
I don't.
So I guess it worked.
I don't do stitches. I cauterize.
Well, I do that. I've only had to cauterize a wound once, and it wasn't my own wound. It was.
It wasn't myself. I did someone else because it was funny. They squirmed a lot.
No, my cousin. First time we went hunting with him, because me and my uncle, we'd gone hunting many times, but his son, my younger cousin, finally got old enough, and he knew how to handle a gun and everything. He was being safe, but the thing is, we were going into an area that was popularly hunted, so the thing is, snow had just fallen, so we had like a thick layer, and we couldn't see the ground. Now, my uncle warned both of us, okay, hey, it happens rarely, but sometimes they'll put a bear trap out here. Whatever you do, avoid any spots that are right next to a tree, because that's where typically, at least hunters in this area, will put them. They'll put them right next to a tree, and they'll have a small little chain connected to the tree. And the thing is, it's really hard to see the chains, especially this time of year. So he said, keep your eye out. If you see anything that resembles a chain around a tree, do not go near that tree. Go around it. Give it a 6-foot berth. And he trusted us to understand that. I had been in there before. I knew, don't go near them. My cousin thought his explanation was he thought it was a rope he saw, not a chain, which sounds stupid. It's like, either way, something's wrapped around a tree, don't go near it. But all we hear is and then screaming. And now he did luck out, because I think he realized 3 seconds after he saw whatever he saw wrapped around the tree that there was a bear trap, and tried to pull his leg away. So it only chopped like the flesh right around his calf.
Oh, damn. I mean, better than
having it pierce your bone.
Yeah.
So he wasn't in the trap, but he had his leg was bloody. It was bad. So we took him back to the campsite, and my aunt and my other cousin were there because they were setting up camp while we were going hunting, and they had a fire going. And my uncle was screaming for them to get the poker and stick it in the fire and leave it. It's a cast iron poker. Right. And while we did that, we put pressure on his leg, and it was bad. I'm smiling because it's just weird remembering it. But we were putting pressure. He's screaming. He looks pale. He's not doing good. Finally, it's a red hot poker. And my uncle grabs a little stick, essentially, and tells my cousin to bite down on it. And then he presses it, and the poker is soon... Without warning. He said on 3, but on 1, he stuck it down.
On 3, 1.
Exactly. It was bad. Oh, God.
And real quick, Calkill, yes, we are. We just kind of went down.
Yeah, we're kind of doing down a wrong path. But yeah, that was the only time I've had to cauterize a wound, and it was bad. And I know, technically speaking, I wasn't one that put the poker down, but I was
had to
there for
smell
it. So whatever you do, I don't envy anybody who has to cut it because it smells.
Yeah,
That is a
burning
bad smell.
flesh has a unique smell.
That is such a bad smell. Yeah, no. It doesn't smell like fresh barbecue. It smells bad.
I mean, sometimes it does with the right seasonings. But anyway, before we go down that rabbit hole, so I caught up to the top of the questions. We only have a few of them right now, and the first one is by Calkill. It is favorite Sabaton song and album.
Wait, where is that?
Brother Dr. Calkill of the 501st. Favorite Sabaton song and album.
Okay. Favorite Sabaton song. Bismarck?
Oh, really? Okay, surprised at that.
What?
Mine would probably be a tie between 82nd All the Way and The Last Stand. And then those two are essentially the same question after that. Thoughts on the recent retcon to the timeline, or what are your thoughts on the retcon of the Dark Imperium books? What would you like to see change?
I don't know of the specific retcons of those books.
I know what I would like to be retconned. I would like all the Primarchs not to be giant fucking pussies.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
I'll run to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. I will answer. Okay. So, Brother Dr. Calkill of the 501st, favorite historical battle. I don't really have a favorite historical battle, mostly because I'm more of it's more of like favorite entire wars. Like I tend to like World War II history, and even going back further to like the 100-Year War or even the Crusades, stuff like that. And even though it's been kind of put in fairy tale format, but some of the actual history around the Romance of the Three Kingdoms is also really interesting. So that's kind of the stuff I like. So it's a little bit all over the place, but there's not really specific battles that I like. Again, from Brother Dr. Calkill, what do you actually know about the town? I don't know about Asmogon, but I know Dick Off. So I might be able to answer this question. The thing about being Magnus's boys is the question of just how far does the Rupert's effects go? Does it affect all descendants of Magnus' strength? So if I remember right, it affected all of his descendants in that area. So all the ones on the planet of the sorcerer.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. So the one question that I couldn't, or I wanted to wait on you to answer.
All right, which one?
Is, do you guys think the Soul Drinkers are Dorn or Magnus' son?
Magnus?
The Soul Drinkers?
They're the ones I'm thinking of. I got the right guys, right?
I don't know. I think I'm getting them confused with someone else. Now that you said that.
They look like Emperor's children.
Yeah, they really do.
Warcry for their Warcry is for Dorn, for the Emperor and Freedom, Cold and Fast Soul Drinkers.
Now they're all Probaris Marines.
Wait, aren't they Renegade?
Were, but they all got wiped out, and now Rabute Gilman reinstated everything about them, and they're all Probaris Marines.
Weird. I guess I'd say if they were wiped out and brought back, they'd be actually. Yeah, wait, they're all Primaris. Doesn't that imply they're actually, technically speaking, Gilliman?
No, because I think the Primaris came from different sources, not just.
Okay. Well,
They look like fucking Emperor's children.
they do. Like, the colors are very similar.
Actually, homie, I know an easy way to tell.
I'd say just skimming it, I'd say they think they're Dorn. They don't look it, and judging on the very basics I was able to pick up from skimming it, they don't act like Dorn's sons.
Look a lot like Luna. Their combat doctrine reminds me a lot of Luna Wolves.
Oh, that's very fucky right there.
Yeah.
Oh, my back. Actually, that was my neck. Why did I say my back?
Yeah, I'm going to say they're either Emperor's children or Luna Wolves. So either 3rd or 16th Legions.
I don't know. I guess I'm not sure on that one.
3rd Legion based on looks, but 16th based on how they commit to war.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. They don't seem to be like Dorn.
No, not at all.
So
they don't specialize in siegecraft. They specialize in ship-to-ship combat.
Well, to be fair, Black Templars aren't masters of siegecraft either. They're
that's fair. But they specialize in like, well, yeah. Favorite historical battle? I answered this one while you were gone.
Oh, where's that? Who asked that?
Right. It's right underneath the Soul Drinkers being Dorn or Magnus.
Okay, favorite historical battle. Yeah, I know. The first ones that come to mind, I'd have to mull this one over because there's a couple historical battles I can think of. But I'd have to say, I don't know. There's a couple that comes to mind. Are we limited to land battles, air fights, air raids? Like, what's
Don't ask me. I fucking cheated and just answered it as like wars. So for mine, it was World War II, the Crusades, and the actual, not like the romanticization, but the historical events around the romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Well, the question was specifically asking about battles, though.
I don't really have a good answer for that. It's more of
I don't think I have a. The thing that comes to mind is the Battle of Okinawa in World War II, where they were fighting on the escarpment, often referred to as Hacksaw Ridge. That's probably one of my favorite battles due to like the heroism that occurred there.
Yeah.
It's a very iconic battle in U.S. history. Past that specific one, if we're going like ancient history, I'm not sure. Ancient history is where things get a little muddy.
And Zelix is saying that they're probably Magnus' sons because they have high amount of psychers and mutate and still fight for the Fist and the Phalanx. That doesn't mean, just because they have a high amount of psychers does not mean they're Magnus. You got Blood Angels, you got White Scars, you got the Space Furries, you got there's one more and I can't think of who they are.
I just realized I'm bottle assing. It's when you're like you're moving your knees up and back, down and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know why. All that sugar and caffeine.
Yeah. So actually, I do have an answer. If we're going to go with specific battles, I think I can narrow it down. And it pretty much for the similar reason to Asmogon, just for the sheer amount of heroism. It's the Battle of Hill 223 in World War One at the shit. Hold on. It's some French place. I can't pronounce it that well. The Meuse Argonne Offensive. It's Hill 223 at the Meuse Argonne Offensive. At that point, Corporal Alvin York managed to nearly single-handedly cap.
That jumped the fuck out of me. Ace! Oh, hey, Ace. Hey, guys, quick question. Just read Marnius Calgar issue 3. Oh, it's out. The evil plan was to use the altar on the moon to make a warp storm. This happens, but Tactican, yeah, that guy, merely flees to the surface. That makes sense. Question mark.
I don't know what you're talking
First
about.
of all, thank you for the super chat, Ace. We appreciate that. Thank you. Have you been keeping up with the Marnius Calgar thing?
No.
No.
I have no interest in it.
So that's on me. So the evil plan was to use the altar on the moons to make a warp storm. This happens, but Tactican merely flees to the surface. That makes sense. Use an altar to make a warp storm.
If I wanted to torment myself, I would rather play Dark Souls.
What the? Wait, I don't think that makes sense. Using an altar and using just blood sacrifices to create an entire warp storm?
You can do it. That's kind of what the word bearers did.
Yeah, but doesn't the type of kill matter when you sacrifice?
Nah.
Blood
is blood.
Okay, so it's anybody's sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that part makes sense. It's weird though. Okay, the evil plan is. So the strategy of the core of the, well, I'm still not sure what chaos god they're supposed to be for. They look like Black Legion. So the chaos forces in the Marnius Calgar comics, their goal, the teacher, so the flashbacks, was to create a warp storm around that area of space. That's not wrong for the chaos to use that strategy. And creating warp storms allows them to disrupt warp travel, communication. It's kind of like putting a giant jammer around an area. So a warp storm is a valid tactic that is implemented. I don't know though, that sounds I'm trying to remember, because that was, so if I recall correctly from when we were reading, that was from the moon around Ultramar? Or no, not Ultramar. The planet Calgar is from. Well, the tactic makes, I guess, the tactic does make sense the more I think about it, but I'm trying to think. So, if I recall correctly, that moon is not by. The rest of the story sucks so bad anyway, even if this does make sense, but. So, they're putting a warp storm around a planet close to Ultramar. But it's. I don't know. Wait. The warp storm only destroys the altar?
And no, it's fucking stupid.
What? It's a warp storm.
Yeah.
They're not like a bomb.
I mean, they kind of are, just bigger than a fucking planet.
Yeah, like only what? Thank you, Ace, by the way, for the other super chat. I appreciate it. But what? Okay, so the strategy was to use a warp storm just to destroy the altar. But it's a warp storm. They're huge. Like, they block communication around a small sector of planets. If there's enough warp storms, they can surround a sector of space and cut them off. Like for example, the Plague of Unbelief. In that case, with that oh fuck, I forget his name. Shit. Okay, so it's after the Age of Apostasy. It's the second part of the Age of Apostasy where that other preacher has a sector of space that's cordoned off by warp storms. The warp storms completely cut off communication and everything between those planets and the rest of the Imperium. So this preacher dude took that as an opportunity to seize power and control over those planets and then start conquering other space. And his intent was to eventually conquer the entirety of the Imperium. Warp storms are that big of a deal. Like, the fact that nobody was able to stop him when he was rising to power, or nobody knew that, was because of those warp storms. He was able to completely cut off communication from the wider Imperium into that space, so people who lived there thought the rest of the Imperium fell. So they followed this preacher dude from the Ecclesiarch. So that's, the best example of, like, the significance of a warp storm that I could think of. And that, again, they're a major deal. It's not like a small explosion on a planet that just destroys an altar. It's a massive, big deal. So, what?
Fuck up sectors.
It fucks up entire sectors of space. What? Wait, so small that Tatkin just leaves in the caves and he is safe? From a warp storm? What?
You're confused and try to figure out how to use the restroom real quick.
What? I'm not even reading the comic today and I'm annoyed. God. Yeah, what? I am... So it's... Okay. Dude, Ultramarine Sweat counters warp storms. It's new lore. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Okay, so you sent me a link on Discord. Hold on here. Wait, that's it? That's the... Hold on here. That's the whole warp storm? That thing's tiny. What? Okay. Well, I won't show it on the stream because I guess, we need to have incentive to have people join us for our group stream. Ace, but yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck? It was like for context for everybody else, because again, when I picture warp storm, I picture a massive fucking... Thank you, Strawman. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Much appreciated, man. Yeah, but when I think of warp storm, I don't think of this danky little... And I'll fuck it. 1 second. I'll share it with Ludus because you get this.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna share this with you. Okay. Hold on. I will share my screen with you over on Discord. I won't show the rest of the stream. Right this second. Hold on. Oh wait, whoops. All right, so this is the whole warp storm. Do you see it?
Yeah.
All right, this is the next page of it. All right, and at the end of it, they escape. Like that's how big the war.
And y'all fucking wonder why I'm not interested in it. This shit right here.
That's the whole warp storm. That little thing. What? Way to illustrate the power of the warp. Like, you can escape it by running out of a cave. What? Okay, I give in. Okay. Yeah.
Hold on. I want to do this for my own amusement.
That is a tiny ass warp storm. Yeah, but earlier, Carneth Corn, by the way, welcome. Forgot to welcome you, man, but thank you. He said Ultramarine Sweat counters warp storms. It's new lore. Yeah. Danky little mini warp storm. All intimidating.
I just googled warp storm 40k. One of the first images is a warp storm swallowing a fucking planet.
They're massive. Like, what the fuck?
Now, the rest of them, granted, I don't think people know what the fuck they're talking about, because it's where, but you know what, let's use this as an example, because this is actually a really good allegory for it. So, when a ship opens up a portal into the warp, it's not necessarily a warp storm, but it's smaller than most warp storms, because they're literally ripping a hole into the warp. It's still bigger than a fucking cave!
They are massive.
Fucktards.
And the thing is, I don't think those are even called. I don't think those are called warp storms. Those holes they open up when they enter the warp to travel.
No, it's not. It's something else. But essentially, what they're doing is they're ripping a hole in the warp to travel through the warp.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, like, so in essence, it's kind of similar to a warp storm in the fact that it's just a direct link from the material plane to the warp. But the difference is it's a lot smaller than warp storms, and it's bigger than whatever the fuck that limp dick, whatever the fuck in the cave was.
Apparently, it was a junior warp storm. Like it hadn't puberty yet. I don't know.
Past 2.5, 3 weeks.
Also, did you see how fast it ended? Like, in 2 pages, it ended.
No, I know. You're gonna love where I'm going with this joke, because this is a self-deprecating joke. You know, past 2.5, 3 weeks, I might have been a broke dick, but damn it, I worked better than that.
Jesus. That was a tiny ass. Like.
Be careful where you go with this.
I'm not going to continue the joke. We'll get in trouble.
Oh no, after I said it,
right.
With me being a broke dick, you're like, it was tiny. Like, hold up a minute now. I didn't say that shit.
I probably shouldn't continue talking about it too much more, because I do want to encourage people to join us for our stream.
Yeah.
For Ace and me and Xeris' stream about it later, when we cover it. So.
Oh, you're actually covering this?
Oh yeah, we've been covering it.
I'm sorry.
It's not like a podcast or anything, but me, Ace, and Xeris from my Discord. We've been reading not only the Calgar comics, but other comics for comparison, like the Damnation Crusade comics, which are really good. Recommend those ones. But we've been reading comics to compare to Marty. The Marty's Calgar ones have been god awful if you know anything about the lore.
I believe it.
Like, they get this. So you know the training process for becoming a new Space Marine.
Roughly, yes.
Okay, so are initiates trained by failed initiates?
Fuck no!
Yeah, guess what? They're trained by a failed initiate. Who by the way failed because he showed traits of being too much like Khorne, basically being too aggressive and too angry like Khorne. So he showed chaotic traits and was allowed to live.
Let's go on to something more important before this gives me a fucking brain tumor. Carneth Corn says CBT is not good for your health, Ludus. What is CBT? Because that's more important than this brain tumor-inducing stupidity. And it's not your fault, Asmogon. I don't want to put.
I didn't write it. I don't take responsibility.
No. I just want to say I'm not actually getting angry with you, and I'm not pissed off at you about it, and I'm not blaming you for it. But that's some stupid fucking bullshit.
Oh my god. Calcio said, "Did the writer think the warp storms and warp portals are the same?" Apparently, because if that's supposed to be a warp storm, it was not a warp storm. It was compared to how big they fucking get. That was tiny.
Most warp portals are bigger than that.
They're massive.
What I'm saying, warp portal. So even at that point, they're still much. Oh, cock and ball torture. Huh?
Oh, Oh, CBT. Okay.
Well, I got it confused with CBD.
Well, anyway, let's move on from that. Ace, if you're still watching, I will avoid talking too much more about it because I'll save.
I don't know how I managed that.
How'd you do?
But I laughed after I took a drink of water. And you know, like when you normally spit out a drink when you laugh, it normally goes straight out.
Yeah.
It went. No. It went straight up my nose. Like it's not that I swallow. Like when you laugh and you swallow and it goes up. No, I like actually spit it out and up. And I don't know how I managed that.
The comic is CBT. Yeah, it is. I keep getting dragged more and more into this torture. But yeah, I'll save my thoughts for when the rest of my thoughts anyway. When me, Ace, and Sirius read it, because I have a lot I want to say about it, but we'll move on.
Since I'm the Thousand Sun, I detect that you're going to say it's shit.
Yep. Yeah, got me. Okay.
I can help that. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm really not sorry because it is.
All right, so I gotta scroll up see if we missed any questions, Sarah.
I don't think we. Oh, I was answering the historical battle because I narrowed it down.
Okay.
Hill 223 in the Meuse Argonne offensive, because a corporal by the name of Alvin York essentially single-handedly captured 132 Germans.
132?
Yes. 6 Germans go to charge him with bayonets. He's out of his rifle round. Oh, first off, he charges a fucking machine gun now with a rifle. Gets rid of the machine gun nest. He 6 Germans go to charge him. He's out of rifle rounds. He pulls out his pistol, empties his mag, kills all 6 of the Germans. The German officer in charge pulls out his pistol and empties his mag, trying to kill one corporal, and misses every single shot. And he's like, fuck it, we're going to surrender. I mean, like, and I really wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not exaggerating that much. It's literally, he charges the machine gun nest with a rifle, kills the gunners and captures the machine gun. 6 Germans charge him with bayonets. He kills them. The officer can't kill him. And you know what? We're not doing this today.
So I won't surrender. Do not kill me.
Oh, what would be the phrase? Normally it's got mit uns. This time it's got mit du? No, got mit dich.
Got me dich. Not my
well, no, that actually sounds really dirty said that way. But no, translated is like normally the phrase is God with us. But in this case it's
Welcome
God
back,
with
Murder Skin, by the way.
What is hate ask? Who would win, a Thunder Warrior or a Stardaze in your thoughts? That's a really easy question. A Stardaze 10 times out of 10. They're just improved Thunder Warriors.
Well, not necessarily. Well, the problem there is the Thunder Warriors were actually more on the lines of the Custodes. They were actually superior fighters and warriors to the Space Marines. The thing that made the Space Marines superior was the fact that they were controllable. They didn't have the same emotional vulnerabilities as the Thunder Warriors. The Thunder Warriors were known to become psychotic, but they were incredibly effective super soldiers.
They weren't effective, I just don't think they could stand started. I don't.
I think Astartes would win because they're better organized. They are able to keep more calm in combat. Thunder Warriors, they're more like berserkers.
I mean, if you go 1v1, 5v5, and 10v10, I think in all cases Astartes comes out on top.
I don't know in every case. I think if it's 1v1, the Thunder Warrior has an advantage. because again, they were really powerful super soldiers. But I
I
think
would
the
think
more
the
Astartes there are, the more strategy you can employ. So the more Astartes there are, even if the same number is against them, I think the Astartes would win.
I think the only case where in Astartes versus Thunder Warrior I would question Word Bearer, but this would be going back to like what the Imperial Heralds were, and they were kind of badass. And I could see a Herald taking out a Thunder Warrior, maybe even a couple of them.
Carnicorn says, and Thunder Warriors were apparently kind of stupid and incomprehensible. Well, yeah, they were. They were, like I said, they're more comparable to Berserkers. They were a blunt instrument the Emperor kind of made in a jacked up. Basically, they were meant to be a prototype. They had a very basic function they needed to serve, and once they did, they were expendable.
He phoned it in that day.
he wiped them out. So, yeah, it's known that the Thunder Warriors, physically speaking, were probably a little bit better than Astartes. They were bigger, more powerful, but they were also crazier. They were more subject to losing their minds, and they were generally unstrategic. They weren't super smart. They were a blunt instrument meant for a blunt task, which was conquering Terra.
Yeah, and also to prove another point, if Thunder Warriors were really better than Astartes, then we would have Thunder Warriors and not Astartes.
Well, they weren't, because again, they were prone to losing their brains.
That's what I'm saying though. My argument is if a Thunder Warrior could beat Astartes, we wouldn't have Astartes. We would have the continuation of the Thunder Warriors, and the Astartes would just be a speed bump.
Yeah, so when it comes to it, the Astartes are superior from a controllable standpoint. That they're more easily they're more. I think it's like an argument between a blunt weapon versus a finesse weapon. Like, they're both effective and good depending on their use, but the blunt weapon is really only got one function. With the finesse weapon, you have multiple, and you have different ways to approach the fight. So
There's a case of Death Guard fighting in fucking vacuum. I just thought about that.
Yeah.
Like in complete vacuum. So I don't care how tough a Thunder Warrior is. I haven't heard of them being able to do that.
Adam Wolford says, "Hey, Asmogon, check in if your chat is working normally. On other stream, it darkened my chat. On other stream, huh?
No, it looks fine to me as well.
What does he mean? You mean like on the
I mean, on my end, it looks fine.
And both chats look fine on my end. And there's a 30-second delay on like the stream view, but that's just the normal delay. But you
need to really run it on ultra low latency.
Huh? Oh, you mean like real time?
Yeah, that's.
Well, I could for the podcast. I just leave the setting there for when I'm gaming.
It should be two different. Oh, right. Okay, so I know why it's different, because I use regular OBS for my recording and Streamlabs OBS for my streaming, because I actually use two different ones.
I use Streamlabs for both.
Yeah, that's why it's different. Okay.
Thunder. Okay, so Thunder Warriors were superior in some ways. Well, they were superior from a physical standpoint. Like I said, physically they're more comparable to Custodes. They were much bigger. They were like 8 feet tall, something like that. On average, they were really bulky, powerful warriors. Like, from a physical standpoint alone, if we're just looking at that, one Thunder Warrior was like 3 Space Marines, or basically 1-to-1 for a Custode. But it's from a mental standpoint that they were completely uncontrollable. They were unstable, very prone to losing their minds and becoming demented. Now, you could argue if that was like chaos infections or something like that, but they, as far as I've done my research on it, that was due to their genetics. Like they were, I don't know if it was chaos corruption. I'm pretty sure it was just they had a genetic disposition to losing their brains, like losing their minds. So, but overall, I think Astartes are superior because, again, they're more organized, they're more controlled, they're more directed, and they Especially the older Astartes, they're more effective because they have experience and strategy behind them.
Yeah.
With Thunder Warriors, even the most experienced Thunder Warrior was still a blunt instrument with only one type of experience in combat, which was fighting other humans. So...
By the way, I want to point out something interesting that I learned doing research for the Legions, and I'm going to point out something Zelik said.
Okay.
The problems where the traitors split the lines for their loyalist factions and their traitor factions, like for instance the Sons of Horus and the Death Guard, most of their loyalist factions who were loyal to the Emperor tend to be Terran-born, and most of their traitor faction tend to be from Chthonia or Barbarous. For the loyal legions, it was actually the reverse. They're the ones so for instance, the Raven Guard is the ones that pop out clearer to me. Now, for the Dark Angels, it's the same thing. The ones from Terra tend to be loyal. The ones from what was the Dark Angel planet? Caliban tend to be traitor. But in the case of the Raven Guard, the ones from Deliverance tend to be more loyal. The ones from Terra tended to be more traitor. Thought that was interesting.
It's an interesting thing to point out, but then it brings up the argument: is it because of their origins, or is it just coincidence?
So in more often than not, with the traitors, the Terran-borns tend to be more loyal. The ones from the planet that Primarch was found on tend to be the traitors. In the case of the loyalists, it's the ones on the planet tend to be more loyal. The ones from Terra, if they still fucking survive by that point, tend to be more traitor. I think the only real legion that didn't have a massive splinter problem with traitors was, unfortunately, the Ultramarine. But Zelik said, you believe that, Karnath Gorn. Zelik, he said there are no traitor Dark Angels. They are 100% loyal. Like, yeah, you believe that.
I stay neutral on that argument.
I say they are a massive... I think there's a gray area for legions that could be either loyal or traitor, and two legions fit in there, and that's the Dark Angels and the Alpha Legion. But Zelik said they had tons of problems, but many escaped from Terra after the Emperor tried to... Yeah. But after the Emperor tried to wipe them out, so how could they make a comeback?
They can't.
By dying at the Astartes. That's how they could make a comeback.
There's really no comeback possible for the Thunder Warriors, because the thing is, like Astartes, they can't, as far as I'm aware, they can't breed. So it's not like they can breed with a normal human and make more of their numbers. Any surviving Thunder Warrior, they're pretty much it. If they're out there still.
There was a short story of them trying to either make more Thunder Warriors, and they successfully did it, or clone them or some shit like that.
Cloning, they successfully, I think. But...
And I think they successfully made like one or two, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, okay, cool. You just added more people to go die at, let's not even say Astartes. You have the Assassinorum, you have the Custodes. Hell, I would say even some regiments of the Imperial Guard. Now, granted, it might take a whole fucking regiment, but got some regiments of the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, the problem with the Thunder Warriors coming back is they really can't. They really can't do it. But even from like a writing perspective, GW has no reason to circle back to the Thunder Warrior plot point.
Don't fucking say that. That means they will.
Well, they have no reason right now. Because the thing is, as far as I'm aware, Thunder Warriors aren't loyal to any of the established factions.
Yeah.
So if they did go back and write them in, they would only be able to do it in the books. In terms of the tabletop, they don't think there'd be any benefit to them because, again, they're not loyal to the Imperium because of what the Emperor did to them. Unless there's some kind of mental fuckery going on there. But they're not loyal to Chaos. Unless that's a thing they want to try, which would be interesting. And they're certainly not loyal to any Xenos, so they'd be a faction in and of themselves. And even then, there's probably less of them than there are Eldar.
Yeah.
There's very, very few of them. The Emperor was very successful, at least as long as it's been described, in wiping them out.
and this is something pointed out by Cavantus. The Thunder Warriors also had relatively short lifespans. Even at the beginning of the Great Crusade, none of them should have been left. On that note, though, and I think
well, that's I'm pretty sure that's short compared to Space Marines.
Well, Space Marines don't age. They will not die of old age.
Thunder Warriors did age. I know that, but what I'm trying to remember is how old. I'm pretty sure they lived longer than normal humans, but they not
lived
much
maybe like
longer.
200-300 tops.
Or I'd say 200 years tops.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning is 200 tops.
I think they just had their lifespans doubled. That's all.
So, and the reason I can say confidently that I know for a fact that Space Marines, they might look like they age, but I don't think they biologically age, is because it's pointed out numerous times in the book that they don't age. Not like I don't think we age or anything like that. Like we just don't fucking age. We don't grow old. And a good example of this is actually Nathaniel Garrow, who by the time of Horus's betrayal at Isfahan would be close to like 250 years old. And he has no signs of aging, which is kind of funny because the Yachten Cruz would also be around the same age, but he didn't really age. He just kind of got to the point where he was like, I don't want to say a senile old man, but they treated him like a senile old man because he was the one saying like, well, back in my day when the Legion was great, it wasn't that he aged, it's just that he was stuck in a different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, Space Marine, I am fully fucking convinced that Space Marines don't age.
I don't know. At the very least, I agree that they age incredibly slowly.
Dante is still alive. I'm convinced. Nah. You have a Dreadnought that's over 10,000 fucking years old.
Well, Dreadnoughts, we can agree. Like, Dreadnoughts, they're already dead.
Well, no, there should be some decay still, though. Which, now, granted, there was neurological decay, but there should still be some form of decay. He is kept in stasis, but that would slow the process, not completely stop it. So after 10,000 years, you would see, like, a skeleton. But he's not. I mean, I don't really believe they age. There's no evidence for me to believe they age. There's none.
Well, there's no evidence of that because most Space Marines, if they do die, they die before they have an opportunity to die of old age.
What? No. So I'm saying there's more evidence to say that they don't age. For instance, multiple Astartes saying they don't age. You have the case of a non-Dreadnought Space Marine being something like 12,000 or 1,200 years old. You have the case of a Dreadnought being 10 to 12,000. And it's like, okay. There's more evidence to say they don't age than to say they do age, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't think it's just... The thing is, I'd say I agree with you that they don't age, but there's no, like, definitive answer written anywhere, I don't think. Unless I'm mistaken. Is there written somewhere specifically, other than from a Space Marine's perspective, that they don't age? Diego Flores earlier said, Asmogon fists loyal to the end because of how Dorn looked to integrate the Legion, but by reminding them that they are all sons of Dorn. Okay, what's that in response to?
I think that was the one we're talking about, like, talking about how the situation of Terran versus Primarch home planet would be traitor or loyal between the loyalists and traitors.
Okay, so like he's saying it has nothing to do with their origins. It's more about what
the Primarch probably.
I would say that's a huge contribution.
Oh, absolutely. Diego Flores at the very bottom on the conversation we just having says they do age. Barabbas Dantiuk aged due to fighting a xenospecies. Just it would take around a ridiculous amount of time. No. That's fighting a xenospecies that caused him to age. That doesn't mean they would age naturally. That's two different things.
Huh.
Actually, I was mostly using Blood Angels because of Dante, who is 1,200 years old. But the case of using Bjorn the Fell-Handed, he is, like I said, 10 to 12,000, but he's also a Dreadnought. That would potentially slow it down. Not fucking 10,000 years. Sorry. No. 5,000 would be my max in a Dreadnought, but 10, 12, no.
I don't know. With dreadnoughts, it's a little harder for the argument because they're dreadnoughts. It's a walking tomb.
It is, but even with the constant upkeep, the body would again. It's in stasis. It doesn't completely stop the decay or the aging. It just slows it down. There would be decay after a certain point, and again, there has been neurological decay, but that's different. That's because they have to actually shut him down for hundreds of years at a time, and he comes back a little bit more senile every time, which is kind of funny because I just imagine like if he weren't a dreadnought, that big white, he would look like Santa, like a Viking Santa. Something like, okay, back in my day, applesauce. What were we talking about? And when his face was to be like,
Hey, what were you talking about? Oh,
Master
yeah.
Bjorn, that we're getting attacked. Shut up, Billy. I'm talking about.
Shut up, Billy! I'm talking about fucking your mom.
Yeah,
Where was I? Oh, yes. Back in my day, we were fighting orcs. Or was it the Eldar? I don't remember.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like, come the fuck on.
Again, at the very least, they age incredibly slowly. So, at the very least, we could say that. Okay, so. Alright, trying to skim what's the next question.
I doubt that Chaos Marines would age. Most Thousand Suns wouldn't age. No, because they're
Hold
either.
on. We got one for Calcul. I think this is a question directed at me. When you think next homebrew will be out? Well, the next one I started writing. I'm writing it slowly, intentionally, because it's Xerxes, and he's painting a miniature. Well, he was at one point painting a miniature for it, and I know he wanted to include a photo of it, but he recently we had a talk, and he said he wasn't going to have it ready, so just write it out. But the thing is, I do want to give him time, to work on it, so I'm writing it slowly. It'll probably be, I don't want to give a time frame because every time I give him one, I haven't been able to meet it. So soon, hopefully. Once I get my part-time job, keep in mind I'm gonna have a lot less time to work on stuff on the side. So I'll try and get the next couple homebrews done before I start whatever job I'm looking for. But as for like a specific time, hopefully before January, at the very least before January. But yeah, I'm really slow at working at these at the moment. This particular one I'm going a little slower than I normally would. But that's because I'm trying to give Xerxes a little bit of time. But after that, I'll be working at my normal pace for the next one.
And this is not me like trying to be disrespectful to the audience. It's like, especially with as we're gonna get a part-time job, me working a full-time job. Just be a little bit patient when we do upload videos because it does take up time and it takes up a lot of energy doing working and doing YouTube. So we appreciate y'all. It's just be a little patient with us.
Yeah,
we aren't robots.
At the end of the day, we're unfortunately human. We're
not a Stardust. We do age.
We do age, and we do need sleep, a lot of it. But that being said, yeah, I won't give you guys a specific time because I've been very terrible at keeping that, those schedules. So just for my own sanity, and so you guys don't get pissed at me if I don't meet the deadline, I'll just say hopefully soon. That's like the most I'll do. Yeah, a promise that was never made can never be broken, says Coin. Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Like, I don't want to promise and then not be able to meet it and then feel like shit for like 2 weeks afterwards because I didn't meet the promise. Yeah, I've had those moments. They suck. Alright, so...
Felix has thrown out salt. Another question. When did the Blood Angels do anything right?
When did the Blood Angels do anything right? Like what? How? Wait, what?
I mean, like Armageddon.
It doesn't.
That's just off the top of my head.
That was a random question.
Like Blood Angels I mean, they're a little psychotic when they go nuts, but they're actually one of the ones that get a lot of the shit right. Well, except for the Planet Murder. That was a funny mistake on their part.
I think the chapter I would say, say that too, like when they did anything right. I don't know, even the worst, even the ones I hate, I have to acknowledge have done things right. So some things right. So very few chapters I think I would be able to say that about. Chapters or legions, if we're going legion. Well, with legions, there's a couple that I would say huge fuck ups.
The Ultramarines didn't get completely DP'd by the Word Bearers and World Eaters.
Not completely.
I mean, they got mostly DP'd, but not completely. So,
it's just from what I've been told, Crusade era Marines don't age, but 40k Marines age due to gene seed flaws, and the process for making them being in some way inferior, but take it with a grain of salt. Well, the thing is, with most of the lore, unfortunately, you have to take it because, again, like I mentioned way earlier, for anybody who's here now that wasn't there then, as I mentioned way earlier, because one of the biggest flaws with 40k's writing. And why there's so many inconsistencies is there's too many writers. There's too many writers. Like if I were to go to my shelf right now of just the books I have, almost all of them have different writers. Like actually, let me do that. All right, we got Horus Rising. That's by Dan Abnett. Yeah. Books are falling. Then we got. Now, keep in mind, these aren't in order. We got Ruin Storm. This is by David Annandale. Old Earth. This is by Nick Kime. By the way, these are all the same series. This is the Horus Heresy series. Already 3 different writers. Alright. Then, let's see here. We got Slaves to Darkness. That's by John French. Heralds of the Siege. Edited by Nick Kime and Laurie Golding. So, I think that's written, by the sounds of it, that's written by 2 different people. Titan Death, Guy Haley. The Buried Dagger, James Swallow. Insert joke there.
He's a good fucking author. He wrote,
the Horus Heresy Primarchs, the anthology books. Let's see, who wrote this? Actually, there's no author.
He does kind of look like a long door.
Okay, well, these books, I can't give a specific author, so we'll exclude them. The First Wall by Gav Thorpe. Then, if we go into some of the other books, Acadian Honor by Justin D. Hill. We then have The Devastation of Baal, Guy Haley. The first repeat author, I think, I've listed. Then we have Death Watch, Steve Parker. Mark of Faith, Rachel Harrison. And then we have Attack of the Necrons, Weimar Adventures, if you count that. That's Cavan Scott. So alone, I've just mentioned like 12 or so different authors. So yeah, we got a bit of an issue with too many chefs in the kitchen, if you will. Alright, clean up my mess because I dropped a bunch of books. Alright. Now they're even more not in order. Alright, where's the fucking book I dropped? There you go. Alright. Did you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, we heard you.
Okay.
I started talking to you and I'm like, oh right, he fucking walked away from the headset.
Yeah. So, yeah, right there, that's 12 different authors, and there was only 1 or 2 repeats. One of the repeats was with another name attached to that book. So, even in books where people have repeat writings, they are still paired with somebody else. So, yeah, just in the books, and the thing is, most of the books I listed off were in the same series, the Horus Heresy series. And they still they still had different authors.
And by the way, James Swallow is my favorite fucking author right now.
Because of the last name or because of actual
No,
writings? Okay.
no.
Well, I have to check. I have to check because we meme.
He wrote Flight of the Eisenstein, and that's my favorite book right now in the Horse Heresy series.
Asmo looks like a long dwarf. I am a long dwarf.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he kind of.
I'm not a short. I'm not a short human. I'm a tall dwarf. I'll take that. It's not it is not annoying that there is still, after all these years, no new no new separate model for the Primaris captain in Gravis armor, from the Dark Imperium box. Oh, that's a question. Okay.
Because Primaris don't need models. Primaris don't need to exist.
Okay, so is it not annoying? I'd say I think whenever they don't like update certain models, I think it's generally annoying. Like I'm still vexed every time I, go to GW's store. Keep in mind I don't buy anything directly from GW's store. I just go there to see what I can Google on eBay. Like I go to Games Workshop store to look at model choices. Because I already have like army lists, and I just go to see if they're for sale from GW. Because oftentimes, if they're for sale for GW, they're available at the very least on eBay for like half price from somebody else. So I just go there to their directory to see what they're selling, to see who will get offered discounts on a different website. So I'm annoyed every time I check out the Imperial Guard, or I check out any of the older factions that haven't been updated in like what feels like a couple decades. Like, I feel bad for Eldar players and Drukhari players, because when was the last time they got a major overhaul or update? It's been a while.
Diego Flores said, did you guys talk about the BS that the 40k app Army Builder is just a beta and not the definitive after so long waiting for it?
I don't use it.
That aside, we both pre-ordered Cyberpunk 77, and it's been in development hell for 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
No. Just saying. We're not really the right people to ask about that, because our opinions are kind of skewed.
Just a little bit.
I was about to say screwed, and then I was like, no, that's it. Take out the R.
We've been waiting for 8 years, and I've already heard a lot of reports. I'm going to be, by the way, for everyone who's curious, I'm going to start streaming it at 7 o'clock my time tonight. I know a lot of people who watch me who live in like Europe and stuff like that 6 hours away are going to be dead asleep. I don't predict I'll have a lot of people joining, but hopefully people will watch like the playback. But I'm going to start streaming Cyberpunk at 7 o'clock when it launches tonight on the channel. Ludus, you're streaming it tomorrow.
No, I'm streaming it tonight.
Oh, you are streaming it tonight.
Yeah, tonight/tomorrow will be about 11, 12 o'clock when I do.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably still be going at that point. But yeah.
Hey, look, I know about the Sister of Battle VR.
The what?
Zelix said, but since Ludus is slacking, how did you like the new Sister of Battle VR?
There's a new Sister of Battle VR?
Oh, so I know this and you don't, but I'm the one slacking. Yeah, there's a
I've been keeping
VR
up with the
game.
Dark Tide stuff. I know that's coming out soon.
Yeah, there's a VR game. It's a Sister Battle. I'll say this. It's an interesting concept. I don't play VR games, so I really don't have an opinion, but it is an interesting concept. If I did play VR, I would definitely give it a try.
I don't have VR either, so...
But then
my
again,
dad does,
I
I
like shitty games too. So,
well, the thing is, normal games of 40k are hit and miss. So,
well, hold on. By the way, I found the perfect argument. By the way, last night, me and someone in my Discord were talking about this, because we were talking about people talking shit about us liking Fallout 76. The second we say anything.
Wait, why am I involved? I've already told you I don't look down on you for that. Like, you like what you like, but
no, because I was thinking about like liking shitty games, but this was a funny conversation that you might actually get a kick out of.
All
right. So both me and this person, we both don't like the game The Outer World. We both she thinks it was overhyped and that's just kind of meh. I actually think it was. I think it was worse than Dawn of War 3. I had more fun with Dawn of War 3 than I did with the Outer Worlds.
All right.
And, and this was a conversation that I actually had with someone. Because when Outer Worlds came out, and I've genuinely always liked Fallout 76. Since it released, I pre-ordered it. I've always kind of enjoyed it because I like those kinds of games. So, I got told that because I like Fallout 76, the fact that I don't like the Outer Worlds, I have no right to talk about since I like bad games. Or even the fact that it could go as far as, since I like Fallout 76 and don't like the Outer Worlds, that just shows that it's actually a good game. I actually got told that.
Okay. Fuck them.
Yeah. No, but isn't that kind of a funny leap of logic to make? Like, I'll admit, I like good games and I like garbage games. I really do. But, it's one of those things where I also have a very open mind when I play games, though. And I'm not saying, like, Asmogon doesn't like Dawn of War 3. That's fine.
I don't hate it as much as I thought I would when I played it a little bit. I hated it about as much as I thought I would from every perspective except gameplay. Gameplay wasn't as bad as I was predicting, but it still wasn't like, it didn't like completely like switch my opinion. My opinion's still the same after having played it.
And so my philosophy on it is if you take the Dawn of War name out of it and just treat it like a 40k RTS, it's not a bad game. But as soon as you put Dawn of War on there, that changes it. That realistically does change it.
Yeah.
So
that's the biggest problem with it, I'd say. The gameplay is fine. It's just not Dawn of War.
Right. It's like 40k Circle Jerk Edition. Call it that. That's what it fucking is. But it's not a bad RTS game. It's really not. It's baseline. I would say most people think it's mediocre, and I understand why. For me, it's kind of like average, slightly above average.
I'd say average. I'd say average.
I'd say the reason I say maybe slightly above average, and when I say that, I mean like average is a 5 out of 10. So maybe like a 6, maybe 6.5, is because I've played really bad RTSs. I've played
some pretty bad ones.
Yeah, and I think it does go better than them. And that's the only reason why I say maybe a 6, maybe 6.5.
I will say this, it's better than the Command & Conquer mobile game. Give me that.
Well, no, it's like, so...
It's just, the thing is, it doesn't live up to the Dawn of War reputation. That's my biggest problem. The gameplay wasn't as bad as I was thinking. I was thinking, like, really fucked up, like, not anything. It's got similar elements to some of the Dawn of War 2, for example. But it's just not right. It's not Dawn of War.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and for... I don't know if you were here for this, but I was in a voice chat. No, you were here for this, because we were talking about WoW, and someone decided to be a real dick about it. And it's like, dude, just because you don't like the game, don't fucking, we just made a quick comment. We were going to leave it alone after that. You don't have to be a dick. That's just my thought on it.
Yeah, it was kind of rude to kind of like eject us solely because we were talking about something, but
No, it's one thing to be like, hey guys, I don't really like WoW. If you're going to talk about it, could you please go to a different chat or just wait till I leave? So I'm like, that would have been fucking fine with me. Like, I'm going to put you on a different room. You're like, fucked. It's all in delivery.
It was a bad interaction between, but we still love the person more or less.
As
much as it was a dick move.
He's not a bad guy. He just has horrible fucking delivery sometimes.
Control power.
But I mean, like, and it's like, actually, this is something interesting because.
Thank you, Adam Wolford. I'm glad you'll be there to watch it, and don't get fired on my account.
And this is something else me and Asmogon were talking about. Actually, this is a conversation I wouldn't mind talking about here because it kind of goes in line with what we've been talking about.
Well, before we talk about it, do you want to zip through any questions? Any quick ones?
I didn't see any. I see favorite clone formation, but I don't know Star Wars.
I don't like if he means by formation. You mean like the 501st? Like we talking that, or are we talking like squadrons? I'm not sure. The only other one I see is best episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
And I have not seen one episode of it.
I've seen the part 1 and 2, I think. I don't have a favorite off the top of my head. I'd have to like specifically rewatch those episodes to pick one out. Like that's, you know, I don't memorize the numbers of which and what happened in them, so that would be hard to do off the top of my head.
Real quick, while you answer that, before we get on the WoW discussion, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
I gotta use the restroom too. So.
Fuck, you go first.
Alright.
Man, you really gotta go when your bladder's gonna blow. Holy shit! But and that's the thing, though, man. You know, my philosophy on 76 is, yeah, they fucked up at the beginning, but I generally like the gameplay of it since the beginning. I like those kinds of games. I like the building aspect of it. I like the creation, not creation, but, well, no, creation would be the right word, wouldn't it? Where you can, like, build your own guns and shit in it. I really like that. So that was in a way, that was kind of tailored right for me, because that's the shit I really like. And so that's just the reason why I like it. Dawn of War 3, I don't hate it. I actually thought it was like I said, average, maybe slightly above average RTS. I really did not like the Outer Worlds. And that's one that I get a lot of shit for because I think it was just an outright bad game. I think it was overhyped and that I don't even think it was meh. I just think it was bad. I wouldn't even give it a meh. That disrespects all other meh games.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, I will be right back now.
Alright. Go ahead. Go. Alright. Alright. Okay. Dawn of War 3 is more just so unbearably middle of the road that it might as well be just plain bad. Yeah, I'd say, again, the biggest problem I have with it is it claims to be a Dawn of War game. It's really not. Like, another, like, the aesthetic of the game is, like, I'd say, like, the second biggest problem I have with it is it feels kind of cartoony. Like, overly so. No, it's just not Dawn of War. I'm sorry. Like, Dawn of War 1, can't beat that. Dawn of War 2, Dawn of War 3, no, it's not a Dawn of War game.
Okay, so is it cool if we do the WoW discussion and then probably wind it down there?
What, you mean end the stream there?
Well, not like completely end it, but just like start like, okay, probably like last 5 minutes.
Okay. What's the WoW discussion?
Well, just talking about like what we were talking about before, like with the expansions and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because what we're talking about, like good games versus bad games, and it being very subjective. I think that would actually be. I think it would be a good place to segue into that because it was something we were talking about. We never really got to finish it.
Okay. That was a conversation a while ago, so I don't even know where we left off.
But no, the reason I asked that is because I do have to be at work at 4. So as long as we end it by like 3:15, I'll be fine.
Okay.
No, so I made an argument that with Shadowlands, they actually did something they should have done for a long time, but that now that they've done it, I think it actually makes it one of their best expansions. And I don't say that lightly because and the one that I get shit for is Warlords of Draenor. I like that one, but my favorite's gotta be Wrath. And then you got like Burning Crusade, Vanilla, Warlords of Draenor. Those are kind of like my top 4. But Shadowlands,
I loved Vanilla, quite.
Yeah,
a lot.
Vanilla was best. Vanilla and Wrath were probably the best too.
I loved Vanilla. I loved BC. I loved Wrath. I loved Wrath because of the theme. Death Knights, the Lich King, Arthur's storyline coming back. Fuck yeah. I loved Wrath of the Lich King.
And then we got Lich King Colonel Sanders. Because he's extra crispy. Because he's extra crispy. Yeah. But I will easily say the worst expansions were probably Mr. Pandarian Cataclysm.
Cata was the worst for me, both on a personal experience, the gameplay change, the balancing changes, the class, the spec changes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Cata when you could just switch between each of the specs?
Late Cata, yeah.
Yeah, late Cata, you could just switch between any of the specs at any point you wanted.
And Cata's when they really pushed away from the talent trees, and they pushed it to where, like, you can pick one of 3 talents. Fuck you, get bent.
Because let's streamline this, because that's what people want.
Yeah, because fuck our players.
The thing is, that's like the biggest problem with WoW as a whole, is the streamlining. Like, instead, Dungeon Finder.
Well,
Raid Finder.
They did some streamlining with Shadowlands, and I'm going to go into this, but I think it was a good call. I
haven't played any Shadowlands. I kind of dropped WoW as a whole.
They reduced the level cap from 120 to 60.
I know that. I was playing a little bit of that. But before the expansion even came out, I finally was like, even if the expansion's good, do I really want to keep playing this game?
And so...
And I played WoW so much since I was a kid. It's like the one game I've been consistent with since I've been gaming. I started playing it at 6 or 7 years old and haven't stopped playing it, and I'm 21.
No, I know how you feel. I've been playing it since it came out, all in all, for 16 years. So yeah, I know. Did you see my chat about the Thunder Warriors? Huh? Adam Wolford. The Thunder Warriors were like old school Chimera, and they started on the newer version.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. I didn't know I didn't know you want us to comment on it. I agreed with it, but yeah, I did see that. But we were like moving on to the next question at that point.
They were saying, and then he follows up with the Outer Worlds should have been like Mass Effect 1. No, it shouldn't have. It should have not been done.
I think that's ridiculous.
Saying that it should be like Mass Effect 1, or saying that shouldn't have been done in the first place?
It shouldn't have been done in the first place. I don't agree with that on any basis. Even if a game sucks, I don't think it shouldn't have been done.
I meant that kind of as a jab. I don't think that it shouldn't have been done. I think there were a lot of things they could have done to improve it, but I think hubris really got in their way. It's like, we did Fallout New Vegas, what everyone says is the best Fallout. By the way, Fallout New Vegas is my least fucking favorite.
My favorite.
Okay, agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. But it's my least favorite. So they went on there with the opinion like, oh yeah, we're the creators of the best Fallout, so we're going to make something great.
To counter that a little bit, that was actually more the community. Because there was the Outer World devs actually went out and said, because so many people were saying, oh, this is going to be the correct Fallout 4. Is what people were saying, and they went out and said that no, we're not Fallout. We're the Outer Worlds. The devs went out of their way to correct that. It was the community that were pushing that this was going to be the correction to the Fallout series.
Right, and I respect that, but then they went to like, but it will still be better than Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. It's not. To me, it's absolutely fucking not better than
to me
Fallout
it is.
4. No, I'm saying Outer Worlds.
Yeah, I believe Outer Worlds is better than Fallout 4.
At least I actually get some form of gameplay from Fallout 4.
I got plenty of gameplay from the Outer Worlds.
I don't know how. But anyway, that's beside the point. We got off track. Back to the WoW thing, because I did want to kind of get through it, because it's kind of a long topic. But no, so what they've done is now you can choose which expansion you play. Which is something I think they should have done a very long time ago.
A long time ago, they should have had that option, because that's been a big thing that's lost a lot of the veteran players. Is they hate the newest expansions. Like those the leveling experience with all the newest expansions has been garbage.
You know what, Zelix? You know what? I'm gonna prove that I'm a Jew right now, and I'm gonna tell you what Kibbs would say. If you pay me, I'll play it. Otherwise, I'm not playing fucking Fallout New Vegas for fun. But anyway, okay. So you can go and play any expansion you want. I think you can play them all up to 40/50, and you can do. I think primarily they want you to do BFA from 50 or from 40 to 50 or 45 to 50. But I do think you can do any of them up to 50, and from 50 you do Shadowlands. I've already gotten through the first 2 areas of Shadowlands, and it's actually really, really beautiful. Like the very first area, Bastion, takes everything I like about the art style of Mr. Pandaria, where the colors were more vibrant. Because Mr. Pandaria, I like the art style because I like the Chinese style architecture, but I also like that the colors were a lot more vibrant and less drab. Like in Wrath, everything kind of had a blue tint to it. It was kind of drab and kind of darker.
Well, that fits the aesthetic because we were up against the Scourge.
No, absolutely. I'm saying it was fitting, but it was just kind of drab. Burning Crusade was kind of drab. Cataclysm ended up being drab. But Mr. Pandaria was one where it really just, the colors popped. It was just so vibrant. In the first area of Shadowlands is called Bastion. It's just, it would not surprise me if they spent the most time doing that area, because it is absolutely beautiful. It is. I don't have any other word to describe it. The landscape is phenomenal. The creatures are just absolutely gorgeous. It looks like that's where they spent their time. The next area is meant to be a darker place. The colors aren't as vibrant as Bastion, but they're still distinctive enough to where they pop, even though they're darker. And that's something I don't think WoW has had for a while. They didn't do it in Legion. They kind of did it a little bit in Warlords of Draenor, but not as much. Mr. Pandaria is where they hit the vibrancy. Cataclysm, not really. Wrath, not really. Burning Crusade, not really. I just think it's a really good way to differentiate it. And it's like the first time I saw it, I was like, damn, this might be my new favorite WoW armor. Let me see if I can actually.
Yeah, I haven't played Shadowlands at all. I've just seen some of the previews. The previews look pretty cool. But yeah, I pretty much dropped WoW.
Get it? It's one of those things that it's 16 years old. Some people play this as vanilla. Some people haven't, and some people that play this as vanilla just go, 16 years. Nah, I'm done.
Yeah, it doesn't help I don't like where the story is going. Adam Wolford asks, I have a question. Wasn't the Lich King, I think he meant to say crown, he said crowd, unbreakable? Or am I not falling on the lore? Well, it was described to be indestructible.
I never really heard it described as indestructible, but it was
the Helm of Domination was supposed to be like the ultimate artifact on our planet, on the plane of Azeroth. Like it was the ultimate power.
So this is something I don't know that much about the lore. I've just never heard it as completely indestructible. I knew it was hard to break, damn near impossible, but not completely impossible.
I do know that I'm pretty sure Tyrion Fordring at one point wanted to. He responded to somebody saying, "Why don't we just destroy the helm if we can?" And he said that's impossible. Something like that was said. I'm fairly certain.
I mean, I really don't remember that. That's the only reason I said it that way is because I don't. I was not really aware of it. Like I said, the most I knew was that it was incredibly hard to break. I just didn't know that if it was impossible or not. And I didn't want to say it was, not knowing if it was.
Yeah, but that being said, yeah. But I stand by my favorite expansions was definitely Wrath of the Lich King, TBC, and of course, not that it's an expansion, but Vanilla WoW. That experience was great.
And I'll say those, but the reason I added in Warlords of Draenor, and people make fun of me for this, is...
They will.
Yeah, it's because I like the Garrison. I really do.
I hate the Garrison.
Here's why I like it. Is because it levels with you. And I think that's a really cool game mechanic. And yeah, I know it's just essentially a fucking Facebook game, but the way they implemented it and the way that it grows with you, especially the Horde one, does look really cool every time it levels up.
Karth Koran, the Helm of Domination is indestructible, and without it, the undead would go berserk, and people wouldn't be able to pass on to the afterlife. I'm pretty sure that was like the original explanation. They retconned it for the sake of Shadowlands.
I mean, they retconned every fucking thing.
Oh yeah, they've done quite a bit of retconning these last. Yeah, I personally, for me, if WoW was to receive a proper ending, it should have happened in Wrath. Like for me, like once you defeat the Lich King, and
I don't think it's going to receive a proper ending.
Huh?
I don't think it's ever going to receive a proper ending.
No, but the closest we got, in my opinion, was the fall of Arthas and the defeating of the Lich King. For me, that was the closest we've gotten to a proper ending.
I don't know. I could see the end of Legion if it would have been done better, because it is holding off the Burning Legion.
Yeah, but the things we already had a Burning Legion arc in Warcraft 3, and pushing them back.
You had it pushing them back, but just not outright. Well, I guess you can't really outright stop them.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I didn't like about Legion. The one thing I didn't like about Legion was the idea that you could beat the Legion. You could beat the Burning Crusade. Burning Legion. I didn't like that idea, because the thing is, the whole reason that it was such a big deal in Warcraft 3 that we pushed them back, and we pushed Archimonde back and Sargeras, was the idea that they were unbeatable. They were the force of destruction that could not be defeated, but merely held at bay. And when we defeated them, essentially in Legion, that kind of, for me, was like jumping the shark almost. It was like the idea of beating Sargeras. That sounds so wrong to me in concept.
Yeah. No, I get it. I know what you're saying.
That's why, like, I know a lot of people were a fan of Legion. They thought it was an upswing from Warlords. For me, story-wise, it was still a downswing. Because, again, for me, that was just, nah, you went too far.
I think gameplay-wise, Legion was a massive downswing from Warlords.
Gameplay-wise, it still had, like, the World Quest thing. Like, I think it was...
Well, no, that's just something they've kept.
Yeah, I don't know why. But the thing is, they keep making them such a you have to do these.
Yeah, they do.
And
what's really fucked up is now when you get to... So this is something I never really did, but originally when I would go through and leveling, because I don't do 5 minutes, I normally just quest and solo, is I would just go through and do the storyline and be done with it. But now, because they got Pathfinder Part 1 and Part 2 for the last fucking 3 expansions, I've actually made a conscious effort to be, okay, so I'm going to do the main storyline. I'm going to try and find all the optional storylines, the side storylines I can do at this point. I'm going to get, while I'm here, I'm going to explore the entire map. You know, shit like that. It's just something that I never really did before that, focused on. It does take up a little bit more time, but at the same time, doing it while I'm leveling does make me appreciate it a little bit more, at least with the exploration side of it. Because it's like, oh, wow, this is some really cool areas that I probably never would have explored if I didn't have to. But, I mean, it's cool in that sense because, you know, it is finding some actually relatively cool areas.
Yeah. Yeah, with, like, achievement hunting and all that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't the achievement system was, at the very least, if not added, it was buffed up in Wrath. I'm pretty sure they were added in Wrath, like, achievements.
In Burning Crusade and buffed the fuck up in Wrath.
Yeah, if they weren't added in Wrath, I know they were buffed up like crazy.
But no, so I don't know if you remember this. Do you ever remember having to do Pathfinder for Draenor or Legion Part 1 and Part 2?
I don't recall doing a lot of Pathfinders. I know that you had to do it for Warlords to get flying.
Yeah, well, no, you had to do it in Warlords of Draenor, Legion, and BFA, and now in Shadowlands. And the way it works is Pathfinder.
Yeah, you basically find every area.
Well, no, it's a group of quests. You have to do the story quest lines. You have to do the side quest lines. You have to explore every area. You have to do world quest, a certain amount of world quests. And the reason this is fucked up is because here's how.
I was never a fan of the Pathfinder thing though to unlock flying. Like,
Yeah.
it's, in my opinion, it's too much to do because once you've done all the things that you need to do to unlock flying, you don't need to fly anywhere. You did everything.
What you unlock it for all your other characters. So, like, if you do it with your first character and then you have another character coming up,
Yeah, but think about like that. Think about that from like the basic standpoint, though. You did all that shit to unlock it to do it again. Yeah. Like for me, I'm like, nah, that's too much.
But so with Pathfinder in BFA, and they did it in Legion and BFA, and this pissed me the fuck off.
With Pathfinder?
Yeah.
Like
they
Pathfinder
added in a part 2. They added in a part 2 halfway through the expansion. And essentially what it is they added in, like for BFA, they added in 2 new areas, Negitar and Mechagon. And in order to get Pathfinder Part 2, you had to explore both areas, get both reputations now to Revered. I think it used to be Exalted. I could be wrong. You have to get both. Ridiculous. Yeah, but you have to get both of them to Revered, and you have to do the quest lines for it. It's like, motherfucker.
I think they get a little overboard with the Pathfinder stuff. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I think it would be fair if the Pathfinder thing was only just finding all the areas, like just discovering all of the areas in.
Well, no, they have a separate achievement for that. It's called Explorer.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, take Explorer and make that Pathfinder. Like doing all the extra steps, it's just for me, it's an unnecessary grind. That shouldn't be. They're just unlock flying. Well, like, once you've explored all the areas, I think that should be fine. Like you've been everywhere on that new map.
Well, I would say explore all the areas and at least do all the story quests.
I'd be fine with that. It's the bonus stuff, like the unnecessary, really long grind.
All that shit, yeah.
It's so unnecessary because it's clearly them padding for time. Like they're trying to make you take forever so they can get another couple months out of you.
Yeah.
And it's such a cheap method to do that. It's completely annoying.
And if it's cool with you, we will end on Zelix's question of who is your favorite WoW character and storyline?
Arthas and his storyline in Warcraft 3.
For me, if we're going by strictly WoW storyline, well, actually no, this one goes through Warcraft 3 and even into book series. Draka, the mother of Thrall.
Was she in Warcraft 3?
I think she was mentioned, but never actually shown. I know she's in the book. I believe it's called Rise of the Horde. If I'm thinking,
I know she's in the books and comics.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is. I can't remember if it's Rise of the Horde or not. There's 2 books I have around this, and I'm pretty sure that's the right one. It's either Rise of the Horde or Rise of the War Chief or some shit like that. So essentially, Thrall's parents are Draka and Duratan, and they end up getting ambushed and killed by servants of Gul'dan because Gul'dan is a prick. And so in Warlords of Draenor, it's this twisty, fucky ducky, storyline where you have to go back in time. And she's actually a really cool NPC in Warlords of Draenor. And in what I was saying in Carter's Quarters, I think she was mentioned in Warcraft 3. I don't think she was actually shown in Warcraft.
I know she was in our time, like not including Warlords of Draenor, alternate dimension Draka. She was Thrall's mom, and she was killed when he was a baby. So wasn't that during the events of Warcraft 2?
It was between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing is she's back in Shadowlands. And this fucked with me a little bit at first. I was like,
And the one in Shadowlands is like the actual the Draka from our time.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So she's in a place called Maldraxxus.
Yeah, she became a baroness, isn't that
Yep.
right? Yeah, I saw a little bit of that.
And so the way it worked is there were 5 different houses, and she was essentially part of the House of Assassins. And she's like, "This is not fighting with honor," and they're explaining like, "But it's still fighting, and it's killing for a purpose." And like, okay, I can kind of I don't like it, but I can go along with it. And they tell the story a lot better than I am right now. And she actually adapts to it and becomes a much better fighter because the training she gets from that. And then that house ends up getting destroyed, and she joins the House of the Chosen, if I remember the name of it correctly. And they're essentially just out and out warriors. And with her abilities, she quickly rose to the rank of Baroness. And she's, a fierce warrior with the skills of an assassin now.
Yeah, I saw she had like rogue abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting.
She got really badass too, and it's really cool. So I really like her, and I like what they've done with her. I thought it would be a little bit cheesy at first, but no, it's done really well.
It'd be interesting. The one thing I'll probably have to look up is if there's any interactions between her and Thrall.
I don't believe so.
Well, that's disappointing.
There are in.
Like, that's like one niche about Shadowlands I think I'd enjoy is the interaction between our living heroes and the fallen that they've lost. Like that's like the one like thing I would want to play for. If that doesn't happen all that much, like
I'm going to say I'm pretty sure there isn't, but I don't know 100% yet because I'm not all the way through it yet. But I know there are some really good interactions and really awkward interactions in Warlords of Draenor. Because she starts talking to Thrall. She's like, "You're a green skin. You're a funny looking orc." And he's just in there like, "It's my mom. I can't be an asshole. I can't be an asshole. I can't be an asshole. Fuck!" It's just so funny because because you go back in time, they're still orange skinned because they haven't drank demon blood, and it's just like. What can you say at that point? It's completely awkward. It's really funny at Thrall's expense. You're sitting here like, well?
Oh, well. Yeah, that's like the one thing I'd say I'd play for Shadowlands. But I'll probably just look up cinematics if there's any. I know I got recommended and I watched a little bit of it between Bolvar Fordragon and his daughter Talia? Is that her name? Talia Fordragon?
I didn't know he had a daughter.
Oh yeah, he had a daughter. She's that chick you see in BFA who backs you up if you play Alliance and the Cultiris.
Oh, okay. I know you're talking about
the one with the griffin. And
yeah.
Her. That's Bolvar's daughter.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I knew that's because I did when I got Shadowlands, I got a character boost and I used on an Alliance character, and it was a Worgen. That's the only reason I know about that bitch. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, she was sent away to Cultiris for safety when Bolvar was fighting the Scourge.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah. So it's a while ago. Draka calling Thrall the G word. Green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a funny looking green orc.
Alright, so yeah, I think we've had our rant about WoW and Warcraft.
Yeah.
So anyone want any final questions? Because Ludus has got to get out of here for here.
Yeah, Ludus has got to go to work, and then when I get off work, I've got to stream Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and I'm gonna probably hop on and watch some Hell's Kitchen or some Kitchen Nightmares with Karneth Korn and Dragonis if they're still available. I mentioned it to them yesterday to hang out and watch that for a little bit, so that'll be nice. But I'll do that.
By the way, me streaming tonight is probably gonna be hilarious because I'm completely sleep deprived.
Yeah, if you want, one thing I would like to do if I'm still awake when you stream is once you're 2 hours into the game. I'm assuming I'll still be awake because I'm gonna be streaming for a while.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it to 2 hours into the game, dude. I haven't slept.
Okay. Well. All right. So either before that or the next opportunity, it'd be fun if we could like hook up on a call from both our streams' perspectives, and then like just talk about where we're at the game so far.
Okay. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Are you talking about like streaming it or?
Well, we can do it while we're both doing our individual streams and just hook up on the call, and anybody who's watching either end can hear the conversation and just talk about what we think of the game so far. We could do a video about it as well. Like I'm open to anything there. That was just an idea I had just now.
No. I was just trying to understand what you were saying, and I could see many bad things coming of that because I'm thinking about reinstating the Gremlin series.
The what?
So, have you ever played Saints Row?
Yes.
Me and my friend, when we were younger and teenagers, we came up with this game called the Gremlin series. We tried to outdo each other on...
Have a good one, Felix.
And we tried to outdo each other on who could make the ugliest character. He had the Gremlin 1. I had the Gremlin 2 and 3. He had Gremlin 4. I had Gremlin 5 and the Fem Gremlin. And after I did the Fem Gremlin, we had to stop because it was becoming mental torture at that point. I broke the character's model, so I gave her that kind of like sassy walk where she kind of like pops her hips. And her hips would like pop up like halfway up her side.
Creepy.
And yeah, we decided that would now, and also like her lips went into her mouth, so we decided that would be the point where it's like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. You just win. So I'm debating about doing that versus doing something outlandish versus actually doing a character I would enjoy to actually see in cutscenes.
I'm gonna make a character I'll enjoy seeing in cutscenes. I'm debating male or female. I don't know which I'll do, but we'll see. Okay, so make homebrew highlights. I'm making them. Calm down. And win the D&D. I don't know if you got the memo, but that completely fell through. Ball didn't want to do it anymore. Everybody else I talked to either was too busy, other things were coming up, or I just didn't get a response from some people. So when I was trying to set it up and organize it, just wasn't happening. So and you left the server at that point, so I just assumed everybody was out. So not happening now. Everybody just fell through the cracks. Unfortunately, that happens. It's unfortunate, but oh well.
Then you get depends.
Then I'll try and do something. God damn it. Yeah, things happen like that, man. I did try and get it set up, but like I said, everybody was either not contacting me back, too busy, and in your case, you left the server at the time. So just everybody went their own ways. So it was unfortunate, but that happens. But yeah, if you want to set something up, cool. Feel free to set it, ask anybody in the server if they want to join in. Go ahead and do it, man. But yeah, it's unfortunate that happened on my end. It just fell through. That reminds me, will there be another torture session of StarCraft 2? Yeah, I have. Every time I've sat down and planned on streaming it, like, I've already had basically the end spoiled for me. I don't know how it happens, but, I'm not super thrilled to see it. Like, I get a very sense of cringe from the description. So I don't know. Like, I have less of a desire to finish the campaign. But I will at some point. It's just going to be, like, I have to find the right mood to sit down and play it. Another thing is I'm not eager to have, what's that? Einar's bitch and moan about my micro. The thing is, it was funny at first, but he does it every fucking stream. Like, it's super annoying to hear that. Like, oh, your micro's garbage. It's like, dude, this is like the 58th time you've said it. Like, there's only so much you can joke about something before it just gets old and annoying. It's like okay, yeah, I get it. My micro shit. Shut the fuck up.
I will say the end is kind of cringe, but it could have been a lot worse.
I haven't given the specifics spoiled for me, but the general ending has been spoiled.
The ending is cringe, but they could have done it a lot worse.
Yeah. So any other questions? I made some ugly bastards in Saints Row. I made a pretty ugly character on accident, but that's because I was terrible at customizing.
Oh no, I did that shit on purpose.
I didn't do it on purpose.
I made it orange.
I was terrible at customizing characters.
So you watched Star Trek before.
I've been fucking raised on Star Trek.
But you know what the Enterprise looks like.
Which version?
It has the saucer. It comes down and it has the two engines coming off the back.
So could be either the original or
they have the same generic look.
They're very different.
Anyway, so take the saucer because that's the important part of this.
Saucer section.
You take the saucer section, and then you give the person a giraffe neck and put the saucer on top of their neck.
For what?
I made a Saints Row character that looked like that, and they were orange.
Okay.
And their nose like stuck out. You know, like have you ever played the board game Life? How you have the little spinner with the little thing pointing out, so it like clicks.
Yeah, I've played Life.
Okay, so take where instead of spinning it so it clicks, take it off and put it on the actual spinning thing so it spins. That's what the guy's head looked like. Because the nose was sticking out that far. It was that far, and if you looked at it from above, it was like that fucking wide. He looks like a one-tooth buzzsaw. I do feel a little horrible about doing shit like that, and then I was like, you know what?
It's a game. You're supposed to fuck around.
Yeah, I was like, I feel a little bit.
I'm very curious to see what monstrosity you make in Cyberpunk. That'll be interesting.
Since you said that, I'm gonna actually call the series that Cyberpunk with the Gremlin.
The Gremlin. Oh god.
And I'm gonna redo the Gremlin series just because that would actually be fun. That when you look at the character, like you have this one lip doing the Billy Idol thing, and the other one just going into the jaw.
Alright. Any last? Let's say for my Saints Row character, I usually just made a really, really buff Total Biscuit.
Sounds about right.
Looking for me, I can finish. Okay, so that's something else. What Ludus have to pick one?
Talking about the Enterprises.
Oh. Yeah.
My argument was they have the same general shape because I was just talking about specifically the saucer part. That's where I was trying to get to.
There's actually 4 Enterprises I can think of.
I will fucking stab you, you Trekkie nerd!
There's the Enterprise series Enterprise, which is the original Enterprise in chronological order. Then you have the original series. Then you have the Next Generation's Enterprise. And then you have the Next Generation's Enterprise after it's destroyed.
You see this pin, right?
You're going to stick it in my head.
No, say Enterprise one more goddamn time, I'm going to stick it in my own damn jugular.
Are you trying to get me to say it?
I knew you were going to say some shit like that, too.
It's like, so tempting.
No, fuck it.
The thing is, I still think, it could be just because it was so different, but I still like the Deep Space Nine more, this structure, that station more, but maybe it's because I was so used to an Enterprise-esque series where you just followed a ship like that around. But I like Deep Space Nine the most. I'd recommend it. It's a very different Star Trek. Like the rest, it's not completely different. Some of the same formulas carried over, but it's completely different in some regards. Like for example, Cisco. He's my favorite commander because he felt the most realistic. Like you know how Picard feels like peak human. Like he feels like he can't do wrong.
No, not really. I don't feel that way about him at all.
I do. Oftentimes he's the only flaw he's ever depicted to have is that he's too logical, too serious. That's the only flaw he's given.
Well, no, I would say the flaw that I would put on him is that he tries to put too much on himself.
That too. But that comes with that nature though. The thing is, it works out though when he does that. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes he does rely on his crew for the basics, but almost every time he's in a meeting or talking with the other senior staff. You almost feel like he would come to the same conclusions if he just had a little bit more time. He has them to save time for himself. That's what the vibe I always got. With Kirk, you actually felt like he didn't know this shit.
Well, I am going to leave on this note because I do have to leave really soon.
I'll end if you got to leave right this second, I'll end without you. Just saying goodbye to everybody and answering any last second questions.
Well, no, I'll say this. I think Kirk was a better captain than Picard, but I think Picard was a better overall character than Kirk.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Because Kirk had that more military, like in charge captain feel.
Yeah.
Picard had that. He was more of a well-rounded character. He had his, and Kirk also had his flaws and had his, and he had his pros, and Picard did too. But it was more focused on that and not on his military-esque style of commanding the ship.
I will say this, there is quite a few times where Picard does have that militaristic control, but often more times he's depicted more of a philosopher, more of an explorer, less of a military leader.
Exactly. And like when he does like need that absolute like, fist-to-face military leader, he's like, Riker, come here for a second. I've got a job for you.
Away missions in particular, yeah.
Yeah. Or Worf. I love Worf. I don't know why, but Worf and Data become my two favorite characters.
I love both of them quite a bit, yeah. All right, let's end it before we keep going on this. All right, okay. So anyway, thanks everybody who joined the stream. Ludus will be streaming after he gets out of work, Cyberpunk 2077. I'll be playing it on launch, which is at 7 o'clock, tonight. Yeah. To Korn and Dragonis, or anybody else who's on the Discord who wants to, I'm going to be doing a bit of a watch party of some Hell's Kitchen or Kitchen Nightmares a little bit beforehand, just relaxing, chilling with some friends, and then I'm going to be streaming that at about exactly 7 o'clock when it goes live.
It's looking at 8 when it goes live now.
It's doing 8 now?
That's what it's looking like on my end.
Okay, I'll check the time again.
No. It is 7. I'm retarded and cannot do it. Wait a minute. Hold on. No, wait. It's 3:20. It's saying it's got 3 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, that's 7.
Okay.
I can't do math.
By the way, Zelix reminded me, Worf is in DS9, so that's another. He also gets fleshed out more in that, by the way. Like he has a wife and everything for a part of a series. Recommend checking it out. I won't spoil any too many more details than that, but I think Worf is better in Deep Space Nine than he is in TNG. Anyway,
but for anyone that's up, I will stream it on my channel at anywhere from about 11. I'll start streaming from anywhere from about 11 to 12. I can't promise how long I am going to stream because I have been up a little bit over 26 hours straight.
Yeah, I'll be streaming for a minimum of 3 hours is the goal. A minimum of 3 hours of the initial game. Could be otherwise. But anyway,
I'm going to shoot for 2.
All right, have a good one, guys. Sorry, this is an extended goodbye. See y'all hopefully at 7 on my end, and Ludus will hopefully see you guys at around